Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
I hear you.
Ooh.
So the setup works 2 weeks in a row.
All right.
I think what we're gonna do. Yeah, fuck it. We'll let him wait a few minutes. I was gonna say because we got a phone call right before we started that pushed us back, and we had a appointment to call Blake at 12:30. That I was gonna try and be professional and be on time, but we obviously are incapable of being professionals.
Well, I come from the wrestling business, so.
Well, and you always have to finish your Wendy's your pre podcast ritual.
Yes, it is my pre-podcast ritual,
which is like 1 or 2 chicken sandwiches.
Yeah, grilled chicken sandwiches with lettuce and pickles only.
Grilled, like you're fooling anyone.
Hey, listen, it's healthy.
With your dude, I watch you get a six pack of donuts.
Takes me 3 days to eat those.
2 or 3 times a week.
Takes me 2 or 3 days to eat those.
You're still drinking those shitty drinks.
I've cut down quite a bit.
I can hear the boulder around the corner of your next kidney stone.
You just reminded me that I didn't bring it today.
You forgot last week too when you could have popped Blake with it.
Oh my God, that's right.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Okay, well I'm definitely gonna. You know what? Well, we see each other every day now, so.
Right. But before we get to the call, because last week we celebrated an anniversary. This week we're also celebrating an anniversary. But since we're on the Wendy's, we never did discuss like the first or second day I started working with you.
Oh man, we're really going back to that, aren't we?
I wouldn't remember it if you didn't show up with Wendy's every week with the podcast. Is that we went through the drive-thru at Wendy's, and this was when Zach was still with us. He has taken 2 weeks off because he's got coronavirus panic and doesn't want to deal with the massive humanity out there. But you and I were in one truck, and your brother and Zach were in the other. And so I'm with you in the truck at the drive-thru, and you pull up to Wendy's, and they're like, "Can I take your order?" And you bark out your order, and she goes, "Would you like anything else?" And without turning to me and going, "You want anything?" or "What do you want?" you immediately, like almost simultaneously, are like, "Nope, I'm good," and start accelerating. Like I don't even have time to like course correct this or anything. We're on our way before you finished the sentence. "No, I'm good."
Bad mistakes were made.
And I'm just like, I sit there and I'm like staring at you. And
I'm oblivious. I'm completely oblivious.
Obviously, I forgot I was in the car because I'm waiting for you to turn and look at me. And I've got my hands up like, what the fuck? And I've got this shocked face. Well, I don't know if it was shocked. Maybe it was annoyed, or maybe
I think it was more annoyed.
It was. And then finally, I just had to like actually get your attention because you had totally forgotten I was even in the car, apparently. And I'm like, dude, what about like anyone else? And you're like, well, your fake contrition and your fake like remorse and apology.
Listen, I do bad things. I'm a bad person.
I kind of like when you pull that shit because then I have something to like ride you for a few days on or to bring up like 2 weeks later on a podcast. So
sometimes I can be a little selfish, Ben.
I was selfish or thoughtless or self-absorbed or
a little bit of everything.
Or oblivious. I don't know which is the right word.
Like a seasoning of all.
Like a little sprinkling. Like my everything bagel.
I try my best, but sometimes I fail. Most times I fail.
Yeah, all right. I mean,
in one of the small categories.
It's one of those things where it doesn't make you a bad person, but it's like, come on, dude, let's get with the program.
Because I 100% did do it on purpose.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. That would be me if I did it. It would be a mean rib and whatever. So, all right, let's let me.
While you're calling Blake, I stopped by the dispensary yesterday.
Yeah.
And got a new pen. So I'm gonna see. We'll see in the next 20 minutes how this goes.
Let's see how this goes. I wonder if he'll answer now that it's... Hello? Is this the Blake Chadwick?
Oh, yeah, here we go.
There we go. Well, Blake Chadwick calls anything nowadays, so he can call this podcast.
I think he's called it a few things in the past.
You know what though?
That's funny, Ben.
He was in person last week. He's on the phone this week. We got to stop giving him a hard time.
No.
And to channel our good buddy Mr. Slambino, I have to just put over the clarity of what's going on here. I mean, this is just top-notch stuff.
Are you driving?
I am in the car at the moment.
That's how clear it is. I can hear you driving. I can hear you accelerating. This is fantastic. So to further the Slambino discussion, when I was talking with you about this and getting your number to call you because I keep switching phones like a person on the run.
Fugitive Ben.
Anthony was like, "There's no way he'll do it. There's no way he'll do it twice." And
I think it's unfair for our 12 listeners. They have this idea that Blake is always just for some reason or not.
Like I'm probably a monster heel amongst the listeners.
You're not. You're not because I go light. But
That's all right. That's all right, Blake. He got me right before we called you because of the time last week when I forgot to order Wendy's for Ben while he was in the car with me because I'm a bad person.
Did you hear that story?
No, I have not. And now I'm very, very interested.
Okay, I'll retell it even so to be repetitive for the viewers, the listeners, not viewers.
Yeah, but we get an honest reaction.
Right. So like first or second day I start working with you guys. Where it's like, all right, it's food time, and he just arbitrarily, there's no discussion about where we're eating or anything. He just pulls into the Wendy's drive-through, and I'm like looking at the menu.
Now, is that a normal option?
Wendy's? Yeah.
Like, is that a place that you would totally be cool with going?
Yeah. Because I'm trying to not eat carbs, so I can just get a double or triple burger and throw the bread away. And so, of course, I'm not voicing an objection. Is I guess where you're getting at. And so he pulls in, and she's like, "Can I take your order?" And he just spits out his order, and she goes, "Is there anything else you want?" And at the simultaneously, he goes, "No, that's it." As he starts pulling away, there's no pause where I can or speak up or yell my order. He's already on the move as he's saying, "No, we're good."
Marco, how hungry were you?
Mistakes were made, Chad. Mistakes were made.
How hungry were you? Was this like Last Supper stuff?
No, it was just standard lunch fare, and I had been so used for so long it just being Zach and I, and bro, I just wasn't thinking.
He had totally forgotten I was sitting next to him in the truck.
Mistakes were made at all levels.
So I'm looking at him with my hands, one of those one of the gestures you make when someone does something stupid in a car and you're looking at them and you make that stupid
you put the hand out and you're like, really?
Right.
Really?
Right. And I'm waiting and he still has no idea I'm there. I have to literally start talking, and he turns around and I'm like, "Dude, I'm good, I guess." And he's like, "Oh no," because I think he knows two things. I
would have loved to seen that look.
He knows two things. A, he fucked up.
Yeah, it's true.
And B, this is not the end of it.
It's only the beginning of the storm.
With there's a receipt coming.
We do a weekly podcast. I know there's a receipt coming for at least
receipts
next
right
month.
now. And so of course I then refuse to get anything.
Like a child.
I do a spite no order. So I can then the whole rest of the day make comments under my breath.
Yeah, because if I drove back around and made good, it ends there.
Or ordered when you're paying. We could have upped our, amended our thing. But nope, I spite fasted for the rest of the day, just so I could, for the next day or two, pepper him with comments.
Fantastic work, Ben. Fantastic.
And then 2 weeks later, bring it up in a podcast.
Ben is an underrated heel.
I may have even pulled my phone out early that day after it happened to make a note to bring it up in the podcast.
You made the note when I parked right after grabbing the food. We parked and you went, making a note of this, and I went, oh, here we go. Oh no, this is gonna haunt me for the next fucking month. This is gonna haunt me through most of Corona.
So guys, I have to make a quick pit stop Is there any way like we can do like a callback in a few minutes so I'm not like interrupting anything?
Yeah, well, I mean,
Yeah.
depends. What are you doing? Because you could live call it.
Oh my god.
I'm not gonna live call this.
Okay.
He's
He's probably doing what you did,
yeah, probably.
re-upping his supply.
No. I'm gonna Vandalay export this one.
Okay. I get the reference, even though I'm not sure how it applies. All right. Yeah, we'll call you back in.
What do you mean? How do you not know how it applies? I'm not importing. I'm exporting.
But I'm trying to remember the situation in the show that was used.
But that's the thing. He's in like 20 episodes.
Yeah, no, I get it. But no, I get
Is this a Curb thing?
No, this is a Seinfeld thing.
Oh well, shit. I forgot most of Seinfeld.
All right. Well, we'll have to get you off the anime and back on the Seinfeld.
Seinfeld. Real quick before I jump off for a second. Seinfeld is like WWE in the 80s and 90s, and then like Curb's the Attitude Era.
I mean, that's fair.
That's good. That's good.
That's pretty fair. That's pretty fair. All right, buddy. Well, go do your mysterious...
Do you want to let you know via text or something when I'm ready to come back?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I'm actually right by the phone, so I'll see it when he texts.
All right. Well, I don't know if he's going to text that one or this one, but
Okay.
All right. I should be pretty quick.
yeah, actually, just when you're done, call this number.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, that'll work. All right, dude.
All right.
All right.
Cool.
Everyone gets to hear the blood and guts of a podcast going wrong as a let me turn the.
I can't wait till we get to the point of our
put the
podcasting careers where we have our own Jamie.
Oh no, his name might be Eric.
Well, he is a sexy man. So
Listen, he might be like difficult, like a Blake, and expect to be paid for his
what is it with people and money?
time.
Being paid for your time. This is America, man.
I don't know.
Oh my goodness.
So while we're killing a little bit of time, actually this story might take a while, but how about the guy that was yelling at us while we were working?
Oh my goodness. Okay. Let's. Okay. So
We may have to put a pin in this in the middle when Blake calls. But
we'll put a pin in the middle. Blake calls it. So okay. So with what we do, work has been in times very light.
Yeah.
Because businesses have been closed down. Coronavirus has hurt most business in some capacity. So work has been light, and in lieu of that, our boss has sent us over to his girlfriend's house to do some work around the house, which is fine because we both have backgrounds. You just came from doing renovation work and general construction work, and it's what I've done most of my life. So, there's the little things, piddly little things like a new light, painting some doors.
But before people think like, oh, this guy's using, people getting paid to do one job to do a personal job. It's like the point of this is that he's keeping us busy and visibly sending us out every day so that the higher ups don't say shut it down for now because these guys have nothing to do. Whatever.
No.
So he's keeping us employed.
Yeah, but even beyond all that, like we are also making money on the other side, but we just don't have the call volumes we usually have.
Right.
So anyway, beyond all that,
but it's to justify us working all the time. It's fair.
Beyond all that, so we're working at her. Well, a little bit of backstory. Her situation is such where she had a water leak some time back. The way that the townhomes are built, they're back to back. They're back to back townhomes, like one home front with two.
I'm not sure what qualifies as a townhouse. I assume that townhouses were because they have a shared wall.
Yeah.
I think that's what basically defines
shared
them.
wall.
So
she had some water leak, and while it did damage in her side, on the other side, it also did damage. And I guess they didn't have the appropriate insurance.
From what I heard, they specifically chose not to have.
Oh, okay.
When they were apparently their insurance company said we offered it to you and you just opted not.
Yeah. So long story beyond that short, there's a feud going on.
Yeah, because
they don't like
her insurance won't cover it because and she's not at fault. It was found that whatever the flood is, it wasn't an at-fault thing.
Yeah.
So they're covering her house, but they're not covering them. That should be their insurance.
And they don't have insurance for that, so it's all coming out of pocket. They're very not happy.
Not happy is
Very not
an
happy.
understatement.
Literally, I have come to the conclusion, and I think that enough evidence has been presented that they spend most of their days and of existence mumbling angry things under their breath about the situation, about their neighbor, about us now,
Right.
and just generally being miserable people.
So I know that we're I think it was like, and the guy. So we were working there one day, and the guy just like, of course, has to be out front while we're working, because we're basically working in the garage. We were building something in the garage, so we were in the garage all day, and the guy's just muttering the most passive aggressive thing. He's out there washing his car, and just for the excuse to be outside within earshot, and just muttering under his breath, but loud enough for us to kind of catch it every now and then. Whatever. But it's passive aggressive. It's aimed towards her and kind of towards us, even though we're just two people fucking here trying to do a day's work. We're not involved with this. We have no cat in the fight, so to speak. At least as far as he's concerned. It's not that we don't.
We're just present individuals at his neighbor's house. So because we're doing positive work for her, we are now.
Right.
You know, that he's just these people are just miserable.
And then his wife also, except her way of doing it, instead of just muttering under her breath shit, she's on her cell phone the way that the most obnoxious people do it, where they hold the phone
on speakerphone,
like horizontally in their palm, kind of about ear to mouth level, and the phone's on speaker, and she's yelling, she's talking out loud, louder than if you had the phone on to your ear, and just talking about whatever, shitting on the lady that we're doing work for, and then like I guess saying stuff about us. I really wasn't paying attention until like the second or third day we were over there, and we were. She asked you if you could pop a few new batteries into a web camera that's like right above her garage,
like about 10 feet high,
and we didn't have a ladder. So you just backed the work truck right up to it and jumped on top of the work truck, and you're standing on the roof of this work truck, putting new batteries in this little webcam. And all of a sudden, he starts getting like real mouthy about it, and how you motherfuckers don't point that over here, et cetera, et cetera. And eventually, because he's basically addressing us at that point, and I'm standing literally like,
You're the space in between the garage and the door of the truck.
The truck is so close to the wall, but the garage door's open. So I'm in that, like, where the garage door would come down, and I'm facing back of the truck, looking up through, like, I don't know, like a 6-inch gap or 10-inch gap between the truck and the wall, watching you do it. Because, you only need one monkey.
You're just standing there as support, basically.
Yeah, you're only one monkey fucking that football. I'm, like, handing you batteries or whatever the hell. But I could turn my head to the right and just look at the guy who's talking at us and about us across a hedge. Yeah. Basically like a
really small hedge.
A 3-foot little hedge
barely.
That just divides the driveways. And
he's akin to like one of those yippy dogs.
Yes. Behind a fence.
Protecting his yard.
But as soon as you open the fence or the sliding glass door, he shuts the fuck up. So he's like talking about us and to us now. And so all I do is I turn my head from looking at you to my right to look at him. Because he's addressing us. Yeah. And then he's like, oh, what are you looking at? And blah, blah, blah. And I just say, what? I think I said, what am I supposed to do? You're talking to us. I looked over, And he's just like, I forget what he was barking. I don't know if you remember. But like just a bunch of horseshit. And you just keep going.
Yeah. So I'm on top of the truck. Now, you and I had been there a few days. But previous to that, me and my brother had been up there.
Dude, I so regret not having the GoPro in my pocket to pull out.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about that later. Because after that, he never like got into it with us again where I was going to pull it right out of my front pocket and just point it at him.
So I'd already had the Iggy on the situation.
Right.
And
I knew.
I'd already seen them interact
Right,
with the customer, so I was just like, "Oh, buddy," Every time I go up there, I'm like, "Well, let's see what happens," and especially now that we're officially kind of we have entered this arena with these people because we have had an interaction.
Yeah.
And they've called our company every time we've been out there, and of course our bosses. So it's just
the phone number's on the truck.
Yeah,
so he starts calling our boss, and the boss is laughing and going. He calls every day complaining about you guys and saying like that we're starting with him and everything.
And it should be noted, other than this interaction, we've had no interactions with them at all. We've been very respectful because we're there just to do work. That's it.
Right. It's not our business.
Just do work, and our work is such where we need to be concentrating on our work. So we don't have time to sit there and piddle paddle with the fuck shows. So I'm on top of the truck.
Paddle.
I don't fucking know. I'm on top of the truck. I'm fucking high now. Okay, that's pen. Good stuff. Good stuff. That Dune dispenser, a little expensive. I like it. So I'm on top of the truck. I already am just like, I'm on top of a truck, and I'm just like, oh god damn it, because we're doing basically what amounts to busy work, and I don't mind doing the favors and everything like that, but at the same time, I'm just like, whatever. So I'm up there, I'm changing the batteries, everything's fine. He starts going off, and I just remember going like, really, dude? Like, because we are on the dividing wall, so we're the closest that we will ever be to these people.
Yeah, the truck was like 3 inches away from that hedge.
Yeah, so I'm standing on top, and he's going off, and I'm like, all right, can they stop? And two, everyone's their little feud has gotten to the point where once they start passive aggressively, like muttering to each other across their little fucking hedge, it becomes like a war of who gets the last word in. So I'm sitting on top of the truck, and I'm just like, I just be over with. Someone go into a room, and at the time she needed to reinitialize with that camera from her cell phone, so she's out there. We're trying to get the camera. Once I've got it back on, I want to make sure it's pointing.
She needs to get a picture on her phone so she could tell you where to point it.
Rebecca. I asked her, I'm like, hey, where do you want me to point this? And he goes, don't you point it over here, but and that's when he started his tirade, which ended with your interaction, very short, very like, hey man, you're talking to us kind of thing.
Yeah, it's like he's talking to us. I look at him. He goes, "What are you looking at?" I go, "You're talking to us. What am I supposed to do?"
And at that point, my instincts start to like all those old promo instincts and everything. I'm just like, because when he starts talking about us, now it's like, all right, if he steps over a certain verbal line, I have to say something.
Right.
I'm on the tier of responsibility. I'm at the top of that tier currently from where we were at. You had just started. Jeff had only been there a week, and it's just like I'm the tech on site. So he starts going, and my experience being the superintendent and all that other shit I've done in supervising workers. So he starts talking to you guys, and I'm like, and he's gotten to the point where, like, I think we should also note, they don't open their mouths without saying the word fuck.
Mm-hmm.
They don't. Like, it is part of their daily vernacular, and I can only imagine for the dumbest things they have to curse, like pass the fucking spoon, that kind of shit. Like, and they're not even like they just the way they talk, they're just dirty people. They're just dirty people. I have no respect for them whatsoever. So I'm on top. I'm trying to do my thing, and I've never opened these cameras before. I'm fucking 10 feet in the air, on top of a van, and I'm just annoyed because we don't have a ladder.
And the sun's out. It's South Florida. It's hot.
It's towards the end of our day. We're wearing long sleeves. I'm sweating, and I'm trying to figure this camera out. He's yipping like a fucking ankle biter. And all you or anyone else has to do to ignite him to yip faster and harder is just
give him attention.
Just give him the attention. That's it.
I fucked up.
Yeah, it doesn't even matter. But you didn't.
No, I know.
Yeah.
But I'm saying,
and all I did was like, bro, we're trying to work. Would you please shut the fuck up? That's all I said.
Yeah.
And then he just, I guess that emboldened him to just like fucking go crazy, and he just going on a ramp. I don't remember what was said, but I remember at some point, because this is what happens with me. At first, I'm annoyed, I'm angry, or just I don't want just don't want to be in this moment. So I'll say something just to, hey man, let's not do this. The next thing is I'll say something really angry because I'm starting to get pissed. But then when I realize that I'm speaking to what, I mean, the dude amounts to like fucking lion food if we were like...
you just became super amused by the whole thing.
Yeah. Promo mode kicks in. And when promo mode kicks in, then I start talking shit. And as we know, when I start talking shit, 9 times out of 10 something bad happens. I get walked out of buildings. Things just don't.
Did you invite him over or say you're over here or something?
No.
I didn't remember.
Before it got too far, I remember distinctly saying, "I wish buses hit more people." Because he was talking. I'm like, sir, I just wish buses would hit more people.
I think the lady whose house we were working for, she was trying to diffuse it and calm you down a little bit.
Because
at that
the
point.
moment
she's just like, come inside.
I don't even know if I said that loud enough for anyone to even hear, but I could feel the internal promo machine start to like flick on, like, oh, it's our time, and it would have ended in him being unconscious on the floor. Exactly how it would have ended, because he is one of those people that once you hurt his pride, he doesn't know what else to do.
Dude, I mean, like, I'll take a punch.
Yeah.
I'd let him punch us.
And then
I'd let him punch
fracture
me
his
because
jaw in
I
1,000
saw the
places.
BSO car right across the street, and I'm like, and there's 4 cameras that we were playing with.
We talked about because not
I'd be
only
like,
we have the evidence against us.
go ahead, punch you. I'll
Yeah.
take your waterlogged house from you. I
Yeah.
mean, give me a break.
And so really, he cleaned those cars for like 3 days straight,
Dude,
man.
every day we came, like 15 minutes later, he started detailing his truck.
Like I have to be. I like his ethic in keeping his vehicle clean, fucking immaculate.
And his dumbass wife, the next day, Jeff and I are out there working on, I don't know if we were painting the doors or what we were doing, but we were working on probably the thing we were building and the doors that we were fixing and whatever. And we're out there painting stuff. And we're just in the garage set up because we're not out in the driveway, but we're in the garage, and the garage is open. We're just working in there. And she just starts talking out loud, and she's doing that on the phone thing, on the speakerphone thing again. And I just all of a sudden, she's just like, to nobody or to the person on the phone, she's like, yeah, I'm leaving. I'm going to close the garage door, though, because I don't want no motherfuckers in my garage.
That's right. That was like 2 days ago.
I want no motherfuckers in my garage. And, angry and like whatever. And then she closes the garage and leaves. And I look at Jeff. I go, I guess we're those motherfuckers. And it's like, who doesn't close the garage door when they leave?
Like, if we weren't there, she would have just left it open, just
Right.
for the neighborhood,
And,
just
and
to
why
peruse.
and like, who's she telling that to? That's obviously
Yeah.
more passive aggressive
Mhm.
shit just for us to hear. And it's like, lady, what the fuck's wrong with you? It's like, but it's like super amusing. And it's like, again, it was one of those things where it's like, it's such a brief moment and then it's over.
Yeah.
And unless I was to engage, which I wasn't going to do, that like again, I had the GoPro in my pocket at that point.
Yeah.
I'd learned my lesson.
And it's the hard part too.
But but if there was another time where he talked directly to us, I know that pulling out the camera would be the same thing. It would up him like 3 levels, which would then put him into performance mode for my camera.
As we talked about
which
before,
is a win-win.
If he didn't immediately jacky you, he would try to physically confront you. No
pictures.
No pictures.
No.
If he didn't immediately jack you, he would cross the hedge of safety.
I thought by Jackie you meant all of a sudden turn to babyface mode.
No, I don't think. I think that guy, that feud is strong enough to where like
Right, but again, it's
like one of us could have
it's like the
horns, and he would still try to fight us.
Like I wanted to use all my stuff on him. I wanted to pull the camera out. I wanted to tell him that he needs. Do you need a hug? I was ready for that one. But after that one incident, he never like got into it with us directly again. And I don't, maybe he just realized he wasn't getting what he needed out of us, and probably he saw that, hey, you're, what are you, 6'4"?
Yeah, I'm even though I'm not as big as I used to, I'm still like 220, 230.
Yeah, I'm not tiny.
No,
and Jeff's taller than you.
He is taller than me.
So this guy probably actually when he went back inside did some of the math and was like,
It didn't add up, huh?
He's like, well, maybe I need to go about this differently. Let me just wait till they're not around. I can yell at the tiny petite woman.
He was only as molded because his brother was there.
Was he put on a performance that day? I thought that was. Was he there?
No. His brother was there because they were doing some kind of like lawn work or something. And then they watched the cars again.
Yeah.
I remember that because they're going through my mind. I was like, all right, this is what was going through my mind as our interactions were happening. I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, if I jump down, I'm jumping down and kneeing him straight in the fucking between the eyes. I'm taking him out of the equation immediately.
Oh.
His brother's the only one I'm worried about. He looks like he may or may not have had that kind of life that denotes a lot of fighting, so I'm immediately going to punch him in his throat.
That's just that was a middle-aged man wearing a beanie too low on his eyebrows.
But
he was soft as cotton.
But I learned a long time ago. The moment you underestimate somebody, you find yourself in trouble. It's best right off the bat just to treat everyone like they're a fucking UFC fighter.
Bro,
and like what's the quickest way to end this? Like boom boom, this would be this.
Paint can to the head.
Well, I'm just saying because he wouldn't. I would like to bet that he wouldn't have said anything if I was only on like a stepladder.
Here, I'm starting to think in the back of my mind that Blake just pulled a giant rib on us. And
I'm thinking the same thing too. I didn't want to bring it up, but I'm like, are we being ribbed? Because I think we're being ribbed.
Honestly, I thought the better rib was if the other day when I said, "Give me your number," because I don't have it since I changed phones, that he would have just given me just a goof number.
Howard Brody.
Anyone.
Bro.
Hey, I on the thread, which I don't know if you read or not, I didn't say Howard Brody, but I said if he had given me the deli counter at the Boca Publix number.
Hey, we'd book a show.
Yeah.
We'd book a show.
You and I would both end up with bookings the next Platinum.
I'd be the Publix championship.
Not Platinum. What is it? What is the Blueprint?
Blueprint, yeah. I'd be the Publix championship wrestling champion.
What is that? Is that it's not a belt. It's like a chicken tender platter, right?
Oh, the
like in the design of a belt.
Yeah, you get the blue cheese, the buffalo sauce, the barbecue.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll take that over a fucking cheap ass fucking title any day.
Right. Especially when you got to give back.
Yeah.
It's like it's not yours.
Well, you just get the platter back. Like maybe the platter has like embroidery and stuff, and they just give you like or a deli, like depending on like
no, the
match.
plastic case that goes over it is all like bedazzled and like craft paint and stuff like that, and that's what you keep.
You know what's awful?
But the bonus is not only do you have that wonderful piece of plastic to hang on your wall for all time, that piece of artwork, that macaroni and paper plate kind of deal, that also you've now got like a party platter for like 30 to go through.
That's the after party, man.
Maybe one, and it's never always the same thing. You never know what month you want to win. Well, because you could get the cocktail shrimp one, you could get the cold one, or you could get a hot one.
It's whatever's closest to expiring that day.
So usually like the mojo pork that hasn't been picked on all day.
You know what's sad? This interaction, better booking than anything they've done. Anything they've done.
I don't know. I haven't seen anything.
It doesn't matter. It's shitty indie wrestling. It's all the same, buddy. It's all the same. We know that.
Yeah, you got to embrace your.
Embrace the stupid, man. It makes it work.
Yeah, it's like we realize that we're of no consequence and of no substance. So let's.
So here's some cocktail shrimp. Right. Like, have some fun with it, man.
Wouldn't it be funny if every match was like a legit prize for a work? So like it's all predetermined, but whoever wins is still getting the $10 gift card and like the chicken tender sub,
Like if you were doing it now, like the top prize, like the championship prize, would be like, hey man, you're one of 10 people in the morning that can go into the Publix first.
Yeah.
Before you have to wait in the line.
What's funny is there might be harder politicking to be booked to win, to go over in the fake match for that than for anything else.
Hey man, I've been here 3 years. Where's my platter?
I want to go. I really want to go over, especially since I hear there's a buffalo chicken dip on the line here.
Ooh.
The spinach artichoke. I'm trying to think of all the things that are at the Publix deli counter. When it's not 1 but 2 pounds of sliced roast beef.
Ooh.
I mean, come on. Especially
That
if you're trying to keep
that London broil, man.
Especially if you're trying to keep a little size on during these coronavirus times. Like gyms.
Oh my God.
Just protein it up.
Were
we done with the whole barking neighbor thing?
Yeah. What the fuck else is there?
I didn't remember if we
like every time we go there now. I think our immediate thought when we pull up is like, well,
I mean, after that one day, I was so excited for the next couple of days, and I would get my camera ready, and then by the end of the day, I'm just totally crushed that we didn't get another moment to at least capture, because even like our 12 listeners would enjoy to click on a link and see that.
So I have a pretty fun story, or that carries off that. So the last time that I have been in the because, I've come across a lot of shitty customers, I suppose, but I've never come across someone that overtly, like, passive-aggressively, like, like, I've never had that interaction where I felt this could become greater than since I was a kid working with my dad. And a real quick story. So, I'm third-generation HVAC. My father did HVAC for like 30 years with Sears, and I mean I spent a majority of my youth as a child and my summers working for him on this, like, because when I was like small, when I was like 9 or 10, I was like child labor,
crawling through attics.
But I loved it because I was like crawling through attics. I felt like Indiana Jones. It was great. It was an adventure. I didn't realize my dad's just taking advantage of the cheap labor.
Unfortunately, you didn't know any better.
No. I was like, I thought it was cool to take crawl in like a 9-inch space with a duck behind me, just to kind of, my dad like just feed it through there, So anyway,
I don't miss those days.
So
when I did the whole.
Oh no! Here we go.
Swipe that over.
I'm swiping left, I guess, because that's the call button.
Except I watched you go right.
Well, I wanted to go right. Oh, I did swipe right. That's right.
You
I started from the left to the right. I'm high.
I'd be very disappointed if you swiped right on or left on me.
I would never. The reason we're talking right now is because I swiped left. I mean right. I just don't know my directions. Blake, I'm high. Okay, just leave me be.
But Marco again, just bringing the black and white as usual.
I'm trying my best here, brother.
So, Blake, are you all done? You all?
Yeah, and honestly, I probably would have been back 5 or so minutes sooner, but there was a dog, and the dog was just it was a main eventer. It was a top-notch dog.
What kind of dog?
It was like a boxer pit mix, and it was a puppy, and it's unreal.
All right, I'll give you that.
This is like a 20-year-old girl that can't resist a puppy.
Yeah.
No, I seriously, I can't. It's just too much.
The brother, I'm right there with you. At our office, we got an 8-month-old German Shepherd, and I can't. He's the best thing ever.
He got his nose all in my business the other day. He was persistent.
Do you have any peanut butter with you, Ben?
I was like, I guess he thought I was smuggling a peanut butter sandwich in there. Cause
get some of that. What was that? What did you feed me the other day? The jalapeno peanut butter or whatever, the sriracha peanut butter or whatever it was.
Oh my God, I forgot you can't handle hot stuff.
Ooh, that sounds like bad news.
It was like a spicy honey peanut butter. It is the greatest thing ever, but it's got a little bit of kick to it, and I forgot that Mr. Crohn's over here can't deal with hot stuff.
Mr. Crohn's.
And so, he doesn't like it in his mouth. He doesn't even like cinnamon whiskey, and then B, I knew that his butthole would be on fire, like a backfiring 1965 Volkswagen Bug.
That is really specific.
Yeah, and I just kind of made it up too.
So, let's get into the meat and potatoes here. While we have Blake on the phone today.
Oh, you mean okay. I know what you meant by meat and potatoes.
Well, I'm just saying because, he was off.
Because my meat and potatoes.
I mean, we've been meandering here.
But
we called Blake on. We wanted to talk about the infamous Blakedown.
Yeah, so when exactly, because
We're 8 days away.
Oh, so it's 8 days away. So we'll do it
Well,
now.
Anthony on the thread reminded us that 5 years ago today was the infamous fruit incident.
See, we should touch on that first. You were there for that, right? Or no?
Infamous.
Me or Marco?
You.
Yeah, no, I was there.
Yeah. See, so recount that really quick.
Fruit?
You'll like this. You
Okay.
probably don't even remember it because it was
So
on Facebook that we were talking about it.
yeah, it was Ring Warriors TV taping. I don't remember which season it was specifically. It was the one. It was the one down in Miami at the CBS Comtel studio. It was the one that kind of actually looks like NWA Power.
Yeah.
Oh, Ring Warriors. That's right. I'm still waiting on my booking.
But these are what I call the lost episodes because I personally, I don't believe I've ever seen any footage from any of those episodes shot that day.
Someone probably forgot to take
And
the
the
lens cap off. You know how that goes.
No, the reason I don't believe I've seen them is because Howard and Larry were trying to pull some shit with money on Jared, and Jared never released the footage.
Ah, well, good for him.
And he wouldn't give it, and he wouldn't let me watch them because, well, whatever.
Yeah. You got to sign up for his program.
Yes, that's exactly what happened.
Oh my god.
You're only a base level subscriber, and that footage is not for you.
It's funny because I actually have access to all this stuff for free, and it's just like it pops me huge.
So aside from snake oil, can we so go back to the story? Tell Marco what happened.
So all Howard and Larry business aside, I mean, we have some solid talent there. I mean, it's a pretty good mix of guys,
there's a mix of the good, the bad, and the ugly. Let's be honest, but there's good.
No.
Sure.
I'm not saying that everyone is a solid talent, but there's a nice mix of guys and girls, and again, some of them within the last 5 years have gone on to some bigger things. But yeah, so I would say that it's the first time, and I believe only time, where the catering for an event, especially a television taping I've done, was based solely around fruit.
It was, but what was it, like just a few fruit baskets or something? Or did someone go out and just go to the fruit section and just spent $100 on fruit?
I don't 100% remember, but I think it was like a display with fruit, where like you could like pick some of this, some of this, some of this.
I'm just wondering if someone's wife took a bunch from a holiday party and recycled it or something.
I mean,
knowing
the parties involved, it could have been a Jennifer Jensen run to Publix.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
The Boca Publix.
So, but they didn't. They handed someone money and wasn't specific enough of like, listen, we know that you're a healthy person, you like fruit, but
everyone else is an animal.
Don't push your views on everyone.
I don't believe there is anything else either.
Just fruit
and water, or was there water?
I mean, there's definitely some water,
right.
but water. I mean, even like a George is giving you water.
Yeah.
Either George.
So just water and fruit, and probably a ridiculous overabundance of honeydew, which is awful.
That's one of those things where it's like, a Snake Master could run a show. There would at least be water.
Right.
Yeah. Not the good water though.
I mean, it would be like super off-brand.
The unfiltered Davy
But this
water.
is like something that still is brought up to this day, like as a rib. Like when people want to poke at Howard or Larry, the fruit comments I always see. Wasn't that also the show that
Larry seems to take it personally?
Like, which is funny because you could probably just brush it off and say, I gave someone money to get food and they just bought the wrong things.
It happens.
Yeah.
Yes, that was. I think I know where you're going with that, Ben. That is the same show where Billy Fives was waiting around, and then they didn't use him, and then he left.
And I think he had said that he had to go pick up one of his kids from the airport.
Again, in all fairness, it was a television taping. It was, for international television distribution or whatever the hell it was. So Billy had, segments to be shot. and you obviously could shoot them out of order. But for whatever reason, the segments were not shot when Billy was there because it was completely unorganized.
But I think he had said, "Let's do me
no,
early."
He definitely gave a time frame. Right. Yeah, there's definitely a time frame, like hey, I have to leave by a certain time. Get my shit in by then.
Because I know there's the JoJo video filming Billy basically cutting a promo on everyone as he's walking out the door, shooting middle fingers,
Right.
In his fun Billy way, because Billy's just, he does not care. It does not matter to him at the end of the day. So I'm here, I'm doing it, but if
me being the commentator, I'm out in the front of the house, so I don't know this.
Yeah. So
Billy Fives has left the building.
maybe Blake needs to call that video.
Actually, if you turn off the volume and send it to me, and then let me do it, and then
done.
Yeah,
Done.
I think we've got something to call.
I think this is our niche. It's not so much like the just random walk through Publix. It's finding a situation that's already like hilarious, and then just adding your flavor onto the
I could theoretically call the elbow drop from Jackie onto JoJo.
Yeah, I think we're gonna go through a series of these. So that's a minor anniversary. But next,
speaking of, should I call the Blakedown?
Why wouldn't you?
I thought this is. I thought that was. I thought we were all leading to that. Eventually.
No, but I'm saying like
Marco.
I honestly thought like we're just gonna like revisit that because that's been your gimmick now and it's working great. So why not revisit the times that you lost your shit?
Call the action on his own shit. There's a couple of those. I got a couple of good videos.
I mean, let's be honest, Blake. I'm sure you look back at old stuff and you're like, ugh.
I got a good cock block moment on camera too.
Ooh.
Well, that would stay in house just based on the parties involved. And
but
who would be seeing it?
Dude, 90% of what we do is for internal use only. Of course.
If we're not popping ourselves, we're not doing anything.
You know how many memes I make of all of us that are never seeing the light of day? Because, dude, I got a great Blake one I'm waiting to use as we speak, but it could never see public.
Oh, man.
I know you're getting excited now. All right.
Yeah.
So let's set the stage here, because what we're really calling you about is the infamous Blakedown, which it was glorious. And I don't know who wants to start, because Marco was there, and he has his own wonderful stories about.
I hated that day. I hated the day with a burning
You went off
passion.
on people after you.
That's one of those things where it's like we could really almost do like the NFL films. Like we could like really tell this thing from all angles.
Yeah, I love that. Too. Maybe next year we'll have some production money and we'll do that. We'll do some interviews.
There's a 60-60 you could do on this one, man. Because
it's 30 for 30, or it's E60. I think it's not
60 minutes. I don't know.
60. Well, that's 60.
Marco took a hit and went to Scott Steiner School of Math.
Yeah.
Although to be honest, Steiner's math checks. when you actually do the math, it's correct.
Oh my goodness! Well, that's what happens.
I don't know if
only 33 1/3% of the time.
Well, listen, when you look at it, he's a smart guy and he thought all that out ahead of time. Because when you actually look at it on paper, that Steiner math routine checks out. But it's just ludicrous.
Scott Steiner is arguably the biggest, or rather, the smartest meathead of all time.
Oh yeah, probably.
Yeah, because I don't see Brock Lesnar breaking down like quantum physics or nothing. So yeah, I think you're right.
There are people that are in wrestling that might be smarter or have nicer degrees, but they're not as big of a meathead.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, you're right.
Correct.
Absolutely. Like a Xavier Woods is not a meathead.
No,
he's a nerd.
Like Scott Steiner.
Even at his size now, you'd want to kick sand in his face.
Yeah. He's also my favorite wrestler with a sword on his chest.
Ironically, there's more than one.
At least one we know of. Okay, so the Blakedown, real simple.
Well, wait. Let me start from my perspective.
Okay, all right.
Which is that this was an ICW show in Miami at the fucking height of summer, not in a building, but in a park.
Well, no, it wasn't the height of summer.
Was
it was in it was in April.
Yeah.
Was it April?
I
guess it is. Yeah, it's the anniversary. Okay, it's not the height of summer.
But it was hot. It was the beginning of summer.
But
it was hot as shit.
In fairness, it goes from winter to summer here.
Yeah, it's South Florida.
If it's not winter, it's summer.
But it was like at least 90 degrees on the thermometer.
We forget though, like 90 degrees to us is like, oh, it's only 90 degrees. 90 degrees to most. Most.
Right, like right now it says 81, and it's like that's
in the air it was 90 degrees, but in direct sunlight.
Yeah, it was like 95.
And the sun was out that day.
And the humidity is like at 100. Yeah. The people from Minnesota here, 90 degrees, and it was like surface of the sun.
And so it was, and on blacktop outside. So it's reflecting back up. At least Blake and Richard Tingle, who is that? Is that his real name, Tingle?
I don't fucking care.
Did
Marco would be the one that would know.
Did his parents really call him Dick Tingle?
I hope so.
Oh my god.
Now, just to put the cherry on top of the whole temperature thing.
Yeah.
Marco and I would be the only ones here that would know this. But what about the fact that there was no AC inside the school?
Oh, the building. Yeah, there was no
AC in the building. So literally, the coolest place, Ben, was where we were
outside.
Which was you were under like a small I mean,
and it was still hot as shit.
Like a tailgate tent kind of situation.
So to kind of make everything make sense, that parking lot had been used by ICW since the beginning in the early 2000s. We hadn't gone back because we had been to the Polish American Club, which was our new home. That we've been doing that for 10 years.
And then their roof caved in or something.
And then the roof caved in, and they abandoned the building. So before George had found a new home at his high school that he worked at, which had some pretty cool-looking shows before the government was like, you can't work and run shows. A little conflict of interest. It was a legality issue. People didn't lose their jobs, but it wasn't good. It wasn't good. I've heard some of those stories. So this show was meant as a leaping off point to go back to where it all started before we move on to the next thing. I will tell you from my perspective, having been in ICW since the beginning, the early 2002, 2003 to that time, I could not have made my voice loud enough or any louder in not doing that bullshit show. But as I
and bear in mind, this is about 2 or 3 blocks away from Marlins Park.
Yep, 2 or 3 blocks away from Marlins Park. And at this point, my contention with George was some of us have moved far beyond the idea of what you're trying to do. And if you want to run a small show here because you just want to do a show before that's fine. But why the fuck do I have to be here?
A small show for small people.
And actually, I still have a momentary whenever I think about it, heat with him because because my job on that show was to have one match, and in that match I had 2 of the most infamous.
You were supposed to squash. Did you squash, right?
Basically, squash 2 of the most infamous backyarders in fucking Miami. For some reason, at that time, it was like, George, what are you asking me to do this? Like, what the fuck?
Dude, hate.
And yeah, so I remember
it was him and Culebra, right?
No. It was Dude Hate and
Ramaguchi.
Okay,
right.
And they
I remember after that show, wasn't it? After that Culebra wanted to work out with you for a while.
Yeah.
Or was
yes.
It
yes.
Yeah.
The mentorship.
Yeah, the mentorship that lasted like 2 months. I was like, hey man, all I ask out of you is just to show up every day, and that was just too fucking hard, man. So whatever. Anyway,
so go back to that match.
That match is online, by the way.
Oh god, no. If you want to fucking don't yeah no.
I might run it while we're talking, like as video,
just to make me angry
while we're talking So when you listen to this on like Facebook or YouTube, you can see what we're talking about.
So I will immediately apologize to everyone that watches that match first off, because this is how it went. I don't even remember what was out in front for the most part, but this is how it went in the back. Once because I was supposed to work somebody else that fell through, whatnot. He gave me this option, and I'm like, bro, you fucking owe me. Because he had paid. I got paid more to do that than I got paid to do anything else.
No, wasn't it like Sam Shaw or something?
Yeah, it was like it was supposed to be Shaw or something, and I ended up working Shaw, and we had a great match. But
another time.
And that's right, because we also had that fucking building with no AC. That's where I did the Gangrel and the Shaw matches. I forgot about that. The no AC.
At
building.
the high school.
Yeah, not at the high school.
No, it was like a MMA gym or something.
It was like a small gym.
Oh, I thought it was at high school.
Yeah, no, the high school was the peak, the peak, because past that I think he's only won one shot, and that was that festival where we were at Blake. We were all fucked up. Well, at least you were.
I saw some pictures that the other day. I was beer drunk for the first time in years.
Yeah, you were in a fantastic shape, sir.
You were in a fine state of Jackie.
He was. Day. He really was.
I was jackied up.
So once he was like, okay, we're gonna do this match, and I'm just sitting there, and I'm like, I was so mad, but I'm making like $200 for the day. For some reason, George chose that moment to pay me, and I don't understand. I'll never understand. But I was like, all right.
Well, dude, it's right around tax refund time.
Yeah, that's true. So, oh my God, that's so fucking true now. I'm thinking about it.
And also, if you think about it at the time, Priscilla hasn't done anything yet.
No.
You know, Ricky hasn't done anything yet. He was trying to put a little down payment on the future, Marco.
Yeah, that's true.
He was going to cash in on you.
Yeah. We see how that worked out. But so once we realize what it is, Dude Hate and Ramaguchi come up to me, and they start running through all these spots. I mean, they are going a mile a minute. I'm looking at them. I'm letting them do their thing. And this is the first time I think I ever felt like a vet, where they're going through their thing, and they're like, I don't know if I said this verbatim, but every time I look back on it, it's how I feel. So I may have said something very similar to this, where they were like, well, what do you think? I'm like, that's all great. We're not doing any of that. I said, what we're going to do.
That warms my heart.
Bro, I can't tell you what they called, but I'm like, yeah, we're not doing any of that stuff. Here's what's going to happen. It's like, we're going to start early. You two are going to team up on me because I'm twice the size of both of you. You guys are going to do your thing. I want you guys to have as much fun as you could possibly have in the 3 to 4 minutes.
Throw your shitty kicks. Throw your shitty strikes.
Slap as many thighs as you can.
Do all of it. I want you guys to fucking have the greatest time imaginable, because when I get back in that ring, I'm beating the living piss out of both of you and taking it home. I think that was the match structure.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, at the time, George was like, well, we need to build you back up to be a monster heel, so we need to do this. And I'm like, bro, you don't need to do any of that nonsense, man. Just let me go out and like beat up a fucking handicap kid or something, and I'm back. Like, I don't need to do all that nonsense, but fine if you want. Like, we'll do the 3-way, and I fucking squash the 2 small guys, and whatever stupid nonsense you heard Jim Cornette say on a podcast. So, fucking, I remember being so angry because the beginning spot we called was super fucking simple. I kept it super fucking simple because I realized.
Wait. Let me guess. Dude Hate forgot it.
They both did. Everybody, for everybody out there that pops for Ramaguchi, he's a fucking horror show in that ring. A horror show.
I love how, like, time and time again, no matter how accommodating you are to someone, that they forget, like the match with Craig, where he forgot all of his shit like 30 seconds in.
I mean, listen, not to jump too far away, I'm not going to disparage the man, but that was one of the most disappointing matches I'd ever done in my entire life. Because that man talked a huge game leading up to that fucking match, and I thought for sure someone was going to be like, I thought for sure I'd have to shoot on him to stop him from some of the nonsense he wanted to do. And then when I showed up that day, he's like, well, I've got a wife and a kid, so I've got to take it real slow. And I'm like,
former NWA World Junior Champion Craig Classic.
It's so disappointed to finally step in the ring with somebody that I have respect for. And not that like I disrespect or have any disrespect for Craig Classic. I don't.
No.
But I expected a showing. And for the short time that I had to get ready for that match, I thought that I had really put in that time. And I just remember halfway through that match going like, I'm never doing this again. Like
he forgot everything and blew up.
Oh
right?
my! Yeah, he forgot everything and blew up.
Yeah.
everything. And then so going back to Ramaguchi.
Yeah.
I remember like it was a very because we only did like an opening spot before they teamed up. We're like lock up. I throw one into the ring post. Lock up with another one, do the same, and we do a short spot with the three of us. Then they realize they have to gang up on me. They do that. They do their deal, whatever flippy fuck show they've got going on. Then I come back in and I beat the shit out of them. And I told him, I was like, listen, guys, I'm going to wait about 3 minutes before I get back in that ring. But if you guys start going, if what you start doing is stupid, I'm coming in earlier. So it's inherent on you, too. Like, your performance, it's all on you. I don't want to hear shit. I didn't give you nothing. If you guys can tell a fucking good fucking Flippy Magoo story, man, I'll give it to you. Because I don't give a fuck. This match is not going on a highlight reel that I'll ever be a part of. That opening,
you're just like the stairs and railing for them to do their skate tricks on for a few minutes.
Like the opening spot, I gave one of them like a shoulder tackle, and like he didn't bump, and I had to like bump him. I forgot what happened. It was something, and it pissed me off. And I went, okay. And then one of them like kicked me in the mouth on the way out of the ring, because they don't know how to fucking throw a drop kick. Mm-hmm. And look, man, I don't give a shit if we're fucking tight. I like working tight, but as we all know, there's a difference between tight and just being negligent, and they're just fucking negligent. So I remember outside the ring going, all right, I'm holding my lip, and I'm like, $200, fucking, it's 200 degrees outside as far as I'm concerned. Fucking, I didn't want to be here in the first place. I don't even care I'm being paid. Fucking, this is nonsense. I just remember like just letting this all build up in my head, and then whatever they were doing in that ring, I remember looking up, going like, why am I involved in this nonsense? Just why? And I know that Blake is calling this, so I know I'm gonna. So I know I'm gonna hear from Blake like his perspective, and it's gonna make me unhappy because you're gonna try to be kind, and there was no being kind in what was happening in that fucking ring. So I remember going back in the ring, and I just remember like I think I knew like I'm gonna get heat for this. I do not care. I beat the shit out of those two. I mean, I didn't hurt them, but I let them know that we're never ever sharing a ring ever. I think I said that out loud actually in the locker room afterwards.
Oh, you went off like a Bruce Sandy on a on a Barrington.
By the way, you can write this down. I have an amazing Bruce Santy Aaron Epic story.
Okay.
I don't want heat with Epic, but an entire locker room witnessed this, so I have witnesses.
Yeah, if it's the truth.
And it's not even the best Bruce Santy story, but it's just something that I've always loved, because Bruce is a wonderful human being who has no qualm telling you how much you suck. Just like our boy Billy. But yeah, no, it was an awful experience. I hated every minute of it. And like when you can't even like take a suplex right, I got nothing else for you, brother. Thank God they weighed 80 pounds, together soaking wet, which they were, because it was again 110 degrees outside.
Oh yeah.
And I remember just being miserable. I remember afterwards being I think Ben, we were talking or something like that. And then that's like, I just remember like everyone knew how unhappy I was. George and I had some kind of.
Yeah, but if you were talking with me at that point, I'm sure, as I usually do, I reinforced why do you keep doing this for him? Why do you keep every favor you do for this man turns into a fuck show?
Yeah.
The guy you're promised. The guy you're promised backs out, or was never actually followed through on, and you end up with bullshit.
Well, in this particular instance, George did eventually fall through. I worked Dave twice. I got Shaw, and then I worked Dave and Stevie in my retirement match.
Well, because you probably said no to anything else he threw at you. You probably refused to work any local after that.
I said no to one thing that I regret saying no to. He knew I was done. I think maybe you guys and him were the only ones that really knew, because I didn't even kind of know. I was still like, I didn't want to be done, but I knew it was over, and I knew how miserable I was every time I stepped in a locker room, because at that point I pretty much hated everybody, and it was just always an excuse just to get together with the boys. Like, hey, Drew's on the show. Well, fuck it, I'll do it because we get to hang out with Drew. Or Blake's on the show and AJ. And, just we did what we did just to kind of like make excuses to all hang out at the end of the day. Some of this nonsense. So
Right.
I just remember George going, look, I know you're done. Because I told him that I don't know. You'll know the day of the show. Because he had asked me, because he wanted to do this whole big thing, overproduced bullshit, if I was done. And I told him, I'm like, dude, I don't want to say that. I'm going to show up and see what happens. And I remember with Dave, we had a great time. Dave ribbed Stevie, and Stevie was miserable the entire rest of the day.
We made like a cat joke or something?
He just asked if Stevie was married to his cats. I think it was... It ruined Stevie's night. And I got to see Dave rib, Stevie for pretty much 4 straight hours because we were alone in one locker room, and it was fantastic. So, like, my last match was a fantastic experience in the backstage, and I think we had an okay match. Stevie hated it, but I don't think he hated it for any other reason than he wanted to do some fucking ROH nonsense, and Dave told him no, basically, because I let them call the whole match. Because they were like, what do you want to do? I'm like, we've all worked. Whatever you guys want to do. You guys are the ones being paid for your times and shit here. And like, But anyway, George had asked me to, because the original intention was me going over and facing Priscilla the following month, which would end up being the last show George ever ran. And putting over Priscilla, which nowadays it seems ridiculous. But at the time... That was when women were starting to work the men, and they were all having all these fantastic matches. And I looked at Priscilla.
He was looking for some shock value.
He was looking for shock value, and I was looking at it like I could have a fantastic match with Priscilla, because
and he was probably trying to hitch his wagon on her too.
Yeah, well, 100% he was, because she of everybody came from Miami, she's done the most. And congratulations to her for it. She's put in the work, and there's no ill will whatsoever. I love that she has been able to do whatever she's been able to do. But anyway, back then it was the whole thing, and I told George, I'm like, I don't know. But at the time, I just wanted to be done so bad I didn't have any foresight to me. I regret telling him no, because I walked into that match going like, yeah, you're going to do the Priscilla thing. Halfway through that match, we're doing the triple down. I'm lying there, and I'm like, what am I? It's over. I knew it was over. Because I'm in the ring with Gangrel. I'm in the ring with Steven Richards, and the only thing I could think of is I just want to go smoke with Drew and just have I didn't even want to do the finish, man. Like
you're just already thinking about what we're doing after.
Like, I'm not even telling you. Like, I remember after the match, like Mannix and Dash and a few other guys walked up and were like, "Yeah, you guys stole the show," kind of thing. And I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, man, we just painted the numbers. Yeah, that's all we did. Nothing special was done in that match, and it was I think it was a fine match. Dave thought it was a fine match. Stevie was mad because Dave thought he married cats, and
yeah, but that's the thing. It's like, and everyone else thinks you guys stole the show, and it's maybe you guys did have a great match, but it's more of a commentary on the rest of the show.
Yeah. When you're in a ring with someone like the caliber and just the quality of people that Dave and Stevie are, and you can't have a good time, I knew it was over. And that if I had done that match with Priscilla, I would have been doing it basically for George. And that was that. But this started that run. The Blakedown day started this run, because at the Blakedown day, I was like, at that point, every time that I kept going.
Well, you basically had your own Blakedown. You went off on the guys in the back.
Yeah, and I was just like, this isn't fun anymore. This isn't cool.
So, Blake, before we get to your later troubles in the day, what was your impression of that match?
It was pretty standard fare. I thought it featured Marco pretty well. I mean, he was clearly, not even just like over the match. Like, I think anyone that had any idea of how this stuff worked, knew that Marco's someone that, they're pushing and trying to put in the spot of, at least the finals here. If I recall, it was a quarterfinal match in the title tournament.
I even forgot it was a title tournament.
Well, here's the deal. Like, just to give a little more background info on what was going on that day.
Because Blake never forgets anything. Yeah. He's our encyclopedia.
Bless you, Blake.
That's sort of my job. So basically, the whole reason I was there is because George, got his big boy pants on and said, "I want to do TV."
That's right, because that's what the last parts of the Polish were. We're trying to do that TV. You're 100% right.
So basically, what George wanted to do is create his ICW Shock Factor show, and I was going to be the voice of it, and he wanted it to be me and Tingle, and we were going to do episodes, and that whole day was 4 episodes. That's what that was at the school in Miami.
Right.
But I obviously, as we'll get to, I was a one and done. So I guess someone else finished out the other ones that were at the Polish. But yeah, so it was one of these things where George had never used me before because he has that idiot kid for ring announcing, and then commentary before he had Tingle and I think Bobby. That's
right, Tingle and Bobby.
Yeah.
So, but then I don't know if it was because maybe he was trying to keep your ass, Marco, or what the deal was, but, he booked me.
Yeah, I don't remember any hand I played in that.
No arms were twisted in the booking of Blake?
No. I don't even know if it was one of these things where you twisted his arm, but he might have just booked me to, make me happy.
I think it may have been like hey, this is what I want to do, and I'm like, well, if you're going to do it right. Like, if you don't use Blake, you're just... Like, on that aspect of the show, if you're not using Blake, why the fuck are you bothering?
Right.
Like within this state, if you're not using Blake Chadwick as part of your commentation crew, what the fuck are you even doing if you want any kind of half-series proper? It's just like, use the guys that are best at what they do.
Yeah.
It's like hiring a bunch of Mexicans to fucking, write Chinese, fucking... Okay, all right, I see. Ben's giving me the look. I'm going to stop before
I'm like, don't make me have to... part of the process. Don't make me have to bleep anything out.
Well, no, I know. What I was going to say is, Mark, you need the look of don't make me do extra work.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
And then I realized where he was going was fine because I've seen lots of Mexican people cooking Chinese food.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's just like, it's like with anything. It's like with anything. Pick the best people. So if I had any part in that process, it would have been that sort of conversation.
Right.
So Blake is calling 4 shows worth of matches. Mm-hmm. And unlike everyone else who could be sort of comfortable, he's in his suit because it's TV. And I'm like not using air quotes, but you can hear them.
Yes.
When I say the TV part.
I could hear them.
Yeah. They're pretty strong.
TV.
Yeah. The wind moved as if my fingers whipped through the air. So Blake is under this tent with Tingle, and Tingle wasn't in a full suit. He was like in a shirt with a vest.
He's whatever he found at Goodwill.
Right. And
because in Tingle's mind, that's how.
Well, listen, Tingle's Mr. Backyard Broadcaster, sir.
That's a fair way to put it.
the one of the best in the Indies calling, and then one of the best in the backyard calling.
So this show.
And if you asked him, he wouldn't necessarily say it's the same person.
So how long? If he did 4 shows worth of content, that was longer than an hour and a half. Obviously,
well, it was like a quarterfinals worth. I think it was just the first round of the tournament. So that's 4 first round matches, and then maybe another 3-4 matches, something like that.
This tournament ended up.
It wasn't super overbooked. I'll tell you that.
This tournament ended up with me and Mike. Me and Vendette. That's when I put Vendette over.
Because I believe where Monroe won the title.
That's right. Okay, I remember now.
Okay. It's all coming back.
It's all coming back. I cut some of my best promos against Monroe.
It's clearing through the concussions and the weed.
Yeah, yeah. It's just. I remember now. I remember some of the promos I cut against Monroe, and I went, man, these are fantastic. They'll never see the light of day because nothing George ever does ever shows the light of day. But man, if only someone who mattered could listen to this.
So you're cooking in your suit, Blake.
Right.
And
See, I feel like there's a lot more backstory to tell before we get like into the actual like.
Go. I think this is your story to tell at this point.
Yeah.
And okay. I'll jump in with the because Jessica, me, Jackie, I think Huss was there. I'm nudging Jessica near the end, going, "It's coming. He's about to pop," and we're nudging each other and giggling as you're. So we'll get to that, but it's basically your story from here on out.
Okay, to set a little backstory here. So the night before, I'm in Orlando at Vintage.
Oh.
And
the other TV.
This was actually let's see. Yeah, okay, so this was still Vintage TV tapings.
Yeah.
But no, I think it might have been after. But either way, so I go up there and I give Jesse Sorensen a ride.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a name.
And so this actually is the night where I ended up going out with everyone after the show, and it's like one of those Valente, Jensen, Kelly Watts, like all the rats, like they're all major shit. So I don't end up leaving Orlando until like 2 a.m. when the bar closes. So I end up dropping Jesse off at like 5 a.m. And at this point, the next morning, I remember, or Jesse was like, "Oh, hold on, before I left Orlando, what do? I pick up the ICW title from the belt maker." And I brought the ICW title down.
Wow, that's new.
I didn't know that.
This is wow. You were the most important man.
So, and it was one of these things where, to this day, was never compensated in any way, shape, or form for that.
Bro, I had no idea.
Yes. So I brought the title down. The guy met me at the building. I went outside, took the title, put it in my car, left it there, brought it to George. At the same time, I think his Sham Shaw was... I think because he could make it, Jesse was like, "Oh, I'm trying to work tomorrow. I'll ride with you again." So, because this was actually the first time, this is like around the time we met each other. So he was like, "Okay, you're okay. Like, I'll be in the car with you again." So I called George.
Lucky Blake.
Right. At the time, it wasn't bad because there was no Casey. So, yeah, well, at the time, he was cool.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I called George and I'm like, "Hey, Sorensen wants to be on the show." And then Jesse, I think he did him for like $100 or something. So, or it's something legit. But I think he worked Johnny in a quarterfinal match. It was like the quote unquote like wrestling match on the show.
Right.
Where there's 8 backyard matches and a wrestling match. No offense, Margo.
No, none taken.
I mean, you wrestled Ramaguchi and Dude Hate.
No. Any more backyard, we've been hitting each other with light tubes and fucking gimmick barbed wire.
Manny worked Benny that day. Like it was nonsense.
Oh my god.
So
anyway, in that heat, I'm just like, I'm like getting pukey thinking about it.
The squishy sounds they made. Oof.
Right. And this is like peak fat bearing.
I think it's always peak fat bearing. Never mind.
Ben had like a little hesitation as if he's going to listen. So.
Well, I don't know. Post like, post this like.
I was saying in the coronavirus era. Who
knows?
No.
In the era after posting that he was in the hospital for something, that maybe he's actually got a health scare and is behaving, but I'm giving it the skeptical Arnold Drummond eyes.
Anyway, so George
he blushed right by that.
So the next morning, up, and George is like, and now bear in mind, I live about an hour from the venue.
Right.
So Jesse meets me at actually, I think at my radio station, which is pretty much near where I live. And then we drove down there, and George making us get there at like noon or some dumb bullshit for like a 4 o'clock show.
Because it's TV, brother.
And it was one of these things where I want to say y'all were done by 6, and I remember leaving at like after 7. Because anyway, we'll get to it. So I have to get there early, and of course I get there early, and there's absolutely nothing to do, and that drives me nuts.
Yeah, because at least have you doing interviews or something.
I'm ready. I'm in my suit. I'm ready to roll. Like, you asked me to be here at a certain time. You don't have to, like, tell me what to do. I can do it 1, maybe 2 takes at the most, and we're good to go. So, of course, everyone's standing around cutting promos here and there, like fucking Ragu's cutting promos. Like, it's nonsense. Like, it's completely ridiculous. And it's sweltering hot. I mean, it's like it feels like it's August in Arizona hot.
100% confirm all points.
That's why my misspeaking earlier about it being height of summer.
Yeah.
I apologize for it, but it felt like the height of summer.
Right? No, it had that. It definitely had the feel like in another part of the country, like it would not feel like the data was.
Especially being in a suit, I could only imagine.
Oh, put it this way. Thank God I wore the light colored suit. So, we're sitting there, and now, keep in mind, during this whole period, I could have been doing the opens and the closes and the tosses and all that stuff for the episodes.
Right.
And since no one really has any idea what the fuck they're doing, but hey, we want to do TV because we're marks for ourselves. So we're in a situation where the people actually know what they're doing. Myself, Jesse, Marco, but Marco's like having to like be in charge of things. So he's like walking around doing shit that he doesn't have to do.
And don't want to do.
It's a complete nonsense. So then eventually, we start the show, we go out there, and I remember saying to Trunks, I'm like, why can't we do everything live? Like, just shoot the opens, shoot it as if we're going live here. Like Tingle's freaking out because he can't do it. But I'm like, just let me do it. Just let me go. Like, it's easy. We talk about what we just saw. We preview the next match, and then here we go. We're off to the races. It's like it's over these people's heads. So anyway, the show goes on. Match. Everyone starts to leave. It's like after 6 or so. It's a pretty tight show, like in terms of like it was actually, you have to hand it. It wasn't excessive.
No, that's true.
I remember it being like a pretty in and out environment, and I was very pleasantly surprised. But
and you saying after 6, it's still like height. It's like
correct
height of the day.
The sun's still out. And
yeah.
when I say out, I don't mean like it's just like visible. Like
right.
The sun's out. Like you could be like tanning at that point. So basically, at that point, then Trunks comes over and says, all right, now let's do the TV. So it's like, fuck me running. Here's another hour or so of work after I just sat through 2 hours of backyard wrestling.
Right.
But it's not even just that. Because it's one thing like with Howard and whatever when we did it for Ring Warriors, because it was pretty quick and we had Jared and it was like, it wasn't necessarily.
And it was indoors and air conditioned, and the people you were working with probably didn't fuck it up as much.
Everyone knew what they were doing and why they were there.
It was a little easier to do that in post. But like here, just roll. Just fucking roll. Like you booked me for, listen, he gave me a decent payday, especially for at the time. That's not bad, especially for local. But it's one of these things where if you booked me, then book me. And by booking me, just let me work. Like, you don't know what the fuck you're doing, so let me do it. So, basically, I go to do that, and it's the first thing on the outtake video that Trunks made. But we go to do the first one, and I'm like, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, we are here, ICW, Future Shock, or whatever the hell TV, blah, 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 blah. I'm Blake Chadwick alongside Richard Tingle. We've got our first round action tonight in the ICW title tournament. Da 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 da. And then I toss it to Tingle, and these deer in the headlights doesn't say a thing.
And we're standing around just out of shot, but we're trying to kind of like, basically we're watching all this, but we're also like trying to get under the shade that you guys are in as well, because it's still oppressive, and
Right.
we're popping on all of this. You don't understand that, like, maybe you do, but we were
Jackie's
watching.
Jackie's probably doing the guys.
We're guys, and we're just watching you get put through the ringer, and it's like such entertainment because you can't hide your facials, and you're reacting as Tingle starts self-destructing. You're getting more and more emotive over it, and we realize how long the day's been and how bad it is for us. We know that you're like melting under there.
So that's the thing. See, so the whole purpose of me talking about the night before was to set the stage of not only did I work an event the night before, and I'm one of probably 3 people on the show to have done that, but it was in Orlando. I didn't get home till 5 a.m. And you had me there all fucking day for no reason. So it's a collection of things leading up to this. And that's what, because that's the thing a lot of people don't understand. And this is me going into Costanza mode. A lot of people, they take what I did in a vacuum, but they have to consider the circumstances here. It's not like I just said, fuck it, I'm going to try to like make a scene.
Right.
It was a building up.
It's not only just the conditions, it's a mounting of frustrations one after
correct.
another.
And the cherry on top of the info I just threw at you a little bit ago of bringing the title down and didn't do anything for it.
Right.
Bro, listen, I had no idea. This is the first I've ever heard of that. I don't know how he got that fucking belt. I just figured he made it himself.
It was some older school guy that, like, I don't even know who it is. Like, it's someone who, I don't even remember his name. Anthony might know who it is.
Yeah.
It's a guy that's, like, been around, I think, and it was like, I don't know if he's a belt maker or what the deal is, but yeah, I mean, George got it. I don't know if he got it repurposed. I don't know what he did with it, but, you know, obviously he needed it that day, and I came through.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, so, you know, we do a few takes, whatever. We're kind of like starting to roll through it. And again, this is 4 episodes, so we're talking about like the open of an episode. We're talking about like, okay, we just saw so and so, you know, and we're gonna throw it to the ring, and then we're gonna like come back and like react to what we just saw, and then maybe we're gonna throw it backstage to Ragu or whoever the hell was doing the interviews, or some random Spanish chick or whatever the hell it was. You know, it's one of these situations, and you know, we're kind of rolling through it a little bit, whatever.
George, the other George, and his co-host of the week.
Oh,
right, like exactly, like something like that. You know, some like Hispanic 6.5. So yeah, so we're kind of moving right along, and then all of a sudden, all those kids that were helping her out come out.
They're like it's like kind of like, I want to air quote again, like interns from like the school he works at or something.
Yeah, the high school.
Right, they were like,
so they're getting like a little bit of
help out.
Getting credit by being involved because
getting
TV production
hours.
or whatever it is. Yeah,
and I'm assuming anyone there is a mark.
Right.
You'd assume, right?
Right. So, and again, Ben, Marco, I'd imagine you weren't out there at this point. Ben, you were there.
These are all the kids that were like holding cameras and setting it up beforehand, and.
But you probably have a better idea. Like, to me, like, they came out, and then it's like we're in the middle of doing stuff, and they just like completely disregard us being live on camera, and they start like messing around with chairs and making all. They
were breaking down the whole setup, and they were folding up the chairs, and these weren't. It wasn't even.
They're wooden folding chairs.
They were wooden folding chairs, and they're just stacking them on top of each other like pretty close to where you guys are filming.
They're crafted from the wood they used to float over from Cuba.
but also it's like the timing is just terrible,
Yeah.
and nobody, like, it's like George said, go pack it up,
Because they have no idea what's going
guys,
on, and there's no professionals around.
But they don't know, and anyone that told them to do it was also just oblivious to the fact that they were also having you do that at the same time.
Yeah.
Right. And it's one of these things where it's like, I want to say, you know, sometimes when you're doing a take or something and you're like rolling and get like a real good take and then it gets cut off, it like really pisses you off. You know, so I think it was something where I had like a real good take going, and this fucking kid starts like messing around with these like also wood like Benoit Sullivan like bathroom match chairs.
Oh my God, it's so accurate.
It's such a clatter because they're
Yeah.
just, it's like people bringing them and stacking them on top of each other. It's making a racket.
It sounds like the ECW arena.
Right.
It did.
And, you know, so obviously at that point, I guess you could say I had enough.
Well, I mean, if you were, if what you were recording at the time was supposed to be post show, like wrap up, it wouldn't matter that they're putting things away, and maybe that could be fine. But it was probably like in between matches in the middle of a show was what you were recording for, and so obviously you can't have.
Well, that's a factor as well. That
You
honestly,
can't-
I never even looked at it from that angle.
You can't have in the background or just the noise of packing up the goddamn show. Show's over, you know, and you
Well,
know.
that's the thing you got to keep in mind here. We're using the mics that are on stands. Like we don't have headsets. Like, you know, we're not in a situation where the audio's wired in.
Right.
So all this noise is not only super distracting to us and really difficult to like even think or speak, but it's overbearing and it's drowning us out. Like it's making what we say, you know, obsolete. So it's one of these situations where, you know, we would have had to stop anyway.
It's definitely one of those situations where any conscious thinking person would go, oh, we're either not going to do this here, we'll do this someplace after the show, quiet, or, like Blake said earlier, as a professional, you do it at the beginning of the day just to get it over with,
Now-
because you don't need to, it doesn't matter when it takes place.
Right. Now, keep in mind also, like I said before, that through all these frustrations, Blake's getting, and it's like Blake is not hiding his frustrations at all at this point. And like me and Jackie and Jessica and Huss and whoever else was there, we're kind of like giggling and we're just getting so excited about what's about to happen because we see it coming. We totally see it coming. That we're basically like hugging each other and giggling and like just watching and waiting. And then you just finally, after this kid starts stacking chairs like 3 feet from you while you're trying to record audio, a total breakdown on everyone's part. Not only the delegating what they're doing, but also the kid not having enough common sense to see that you are recording audio there. And maybe I shouldn't be making a racket right behind your left ear.
Where's George, who Mr. My Television product,
Right.
sitting there saying, hey, everybody, like, you know, chill for a minute, you know, we're recording some stuff. You know, where's him, like, taking some order here?
Yeah. Nowhere to be found.
Right. Nowhere to be found.
He said parts unknown.
I unloaded on the kid, and I just started cutting the promo, and I was basically just saying, like...
Well, you were you exploded. You, like, in the middle of take, you just exploded, and you started screaming and yelling at everyone, and peppered quite a few obscenities, a lot of big words, a lot of 4-letter words, and you were yelling at these kids.
Ben, I'll give you permission. I will give you permission. If you cue it up in the background, you can play the audio over us.
You're giving me permission. Oh, we may just play it at the end of it.
Yeah.
Or open it with it.
Because we could do like a watch along. like we could talk about it as it's happening.
I can't remember if I was outside or not.
I think maybe you got lured outside at this point.
Yeah, I got the Iggy. Someone gave me the Iggy that you were about to explode, and I went, I gotta see this. Because at that point, I was like, hey, someone as miserable as me. Let's see how their reaction to this day has been.
Right, and maybe that misery loves company thing. It would kind of lighten your spirit a little by seeing someone else going through hell.
Well, most of these kids, that he used for the volunteer hours and shit, they'd been around forever, so they knew me.
Yeah,
Like they knew. Oh, that's just Prime being Prime. But to see Blake go crazy, that was new.
yeah. and these students, these high school students, like are getting cursed out by Blake, and they're like, I didn't sign up for this.
And they
shit.
have no idea what is really going on or why. They're just
Well, that's the thing that's not fair. It's like I'm sitting here treating it like it's a thing, and no one thinks it's a thing.
Yeah.
I mean, Blake was almost at the point where he just did in a full circle. Was like, fuck you, you're cool, fuck you, that whole routine.
I was ready for it. I was ready. I was ready to go half baked on him. Yeah, I mean, it's one of these situations where George had me booked for the next show, and the next show was in June, and then he
you abused his people so much that he couldn't bring you back.
No, and then he canceled me for budget purposes,
quote unquote.
Is that what he told you?
But he never ended up running. He never did that show, and then the next show after that was the one where Vendetti went over.
Yeah, well, I remember it being something crazy like that, where it was just not consecutive, and I don't know. Listen, man, we could talk for hours about all the reasons everything he did was bad, but at the end of the day, it just boils down to someone got a check, someone got a little bit of an ego about himself, the people around him, and thought that they were going to do something that they had no capability of doing. Everyone looks in the mirror and thinks, "Oh man, I could do what AEW did," and then the thing they put out there, yeah, that's some terrible shit, and that's what we got kind of stuck into, because there was 4 of us that had any business in a wrestling ring, and everybody else was just along for the fucking ride.
It's like trying to recreate the Mona Lisa and coming out with a 4th grader's diorama.
Yeah, using nothing but fucking crayons and fucking construction paper.
Yeah.
And someone gave you one good pen. So, yeah, and the great thing about the Blakedown, I think, from at least our perspective, Blake, was how...
Other than it being recorded on video.
Other than it being recorded on video for posterity for years to come, was how out of character everyone thought it was of you to do, except us.
Which is kind of funny. I mean, it hasn't happened again, and I don't think it will ever happen again.
Oh, it will.
If it's up to Ben.
I was gonna say it almost sounded like Ben's like, "Don't worry, plans are in motion."
Well,
it will.
The problem is, Blake, you said it out loud that it won't, which means now it has to.
Oh my goodness! Breakfast Club Championship Wrestling brings you Blakedown 2.
Yeah.
Well, that's where he would feel most comfortable to do it on one of us. So that's fair.
If you put me in charge of anything that has to do with Blake's job at a wrestling show, he's going to scream at me. 100% going to happen. I'll have earned it.
So I'll just say, from a spectator's perspective, it was majestic.
It was.
It was for knowing it was coming and the anticipation that builds. Usually things don't live up to the anticipation. This delivered on every level for us. We were totally satisfied. We weren't left needing more. It was of all your work with us, you really delivered that day.
I really tried. It was a nice way to cap off a weekend loop.
Well, it really shows that passion goes a long way sometimes.
So how does it feel, Blake, to know that you only have to be pushed on the verge of a mental breakdown to get that kind of praise?
Right. Oh, you want to hear something hilarious? That's another little Easter egg that I never said.
What's that?
Guess who called me and ended up speaking to me for the whole ride home?
Tingle?
Kelly Watts.
Kelly Watts.
That's you know exactly what you did.
Yeah, from the alehouse party last week we talked about.
Oh, the rat! Oh shit!
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I wanted to say it was
But
a rat,
that's-
but I wasn't sure.
That's because it was before he knew what he had done.
Oh, that's right. Maybe that's what you did.
Now, in all fairness, she's like a rat at Jace.
Now, hold on. Let me clarify why you were talking to her the whole ride home. Didn't Jesse dump you? Did you at the end of that show?
For Dr. Phil.
For who?
Dr. Phil.
Have you guys ever met our friend Dr. Phil? He's Philip Chang, the Asian gay doctor.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know what you're talking about, Dr. Phil. Okay.
I just remember you were kind of like afterwards when you were all done. You're like, "Where's Jesse?"
That was my first taste. That was my first taste. That was my first taste of being Sorensen.
Jesse didn't have. I've been through this with people before where they don't have the courtesy to at least give you a heads up when they're going to be late or not show or whatever. That you. I just remember after the Blakedown and we're all having fun after you kind of took your jacket off and cooled off a little bit. That you're like, where'd Jesse go? He came down with me. Where the hell did he go?
Exactly.
And I think you couldn't get a hold of him on the phone either.
Yeah, it was like some weird shit, and then I eventually got like a text from him. Whatever, it is what it is.
You're like, I guess I'm leaving him if he's here because I can't find him.
Right. I think I got the EP that Dr. Phil took him, so I was like, all right, I'm out of here.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Oh, speaking of which, we have a brewing Seinfeld curb kind of thing going on here that I don't think we had discussed privately, but I'll discuss it publicly.
Excellent. Best way to do it.
So, amidst this whole coronavirus thing and just, being all by myself in my apartment, I have re-entered the world of apps.
Oh, no.
I was really hoping not to, but goddamn you, COVID.
I mean, we're going full circle to swiping right or left when we answered your call here. Okay.
You're swiping a lot of right, aren't you, Blake?
So, basically, I pop huge. I pop myself huge when I see people I know.
That's always a treat.
Uh-oh.
It really just like for some reason I'm a mark for it. So, especially working in this building that I live in, I'm a huge mark for the idea of seeing people in the building on the app.
Right.
Oh my goodness.
So, I've seen a few.
Does this end with you building a harem of people that just live within 20 feet of you?
Well, I will. Marco, you're not that far off.
I know.
Because not only did I catch my next door neighbor on the app.
Can we get a brief rundown?
I swiped right.
Uh-oh.
And it's someone who we've always had like a little thing.
Oh no. Now you're about to have a big thing.
So
maybe she is.
Ooh.
This was like last week or so. So the next thing I know, I wake up this morning with a match and a message that says, "Hey, what's up, neighbor?"
Oh shit.
This is going to be one of those where it even surpasses like any need for communication other than knocking on your bedroom wall.
Yeah.
And then
there could be the proverbial like
you just knock on the bedroom wall, and 2 minutes later, she's walking into your apartment. And
you know how this ends, right?
Servicing your piece.
There's only two ways this ends. Where Blake becomes like the resident condo pimp, and he's just got all this harem of hoes that go up to.
Or he's like constantly avoiding people in his own building,
and he has to leave. One of the two. And I think the more curbed thing is you having to leave.
ducking.
Well, I already did business with someone on the second floor, and that didn't end well. But that's because she's really mature.
See, Blake's gonna end up having to leave his apartment every day with a fake mustache and a ball cap.
I have a very ideal situation. Like the door to the garage is like 5 feet from my door.
Oh my God! So you got just a quick sprint.
It's like in and out all day, and I can bring him in and out all day.
He's like a fucking groundhog. And right, if he sees a shadow, he goes right back in his door between the 5 feet between him and the garage. Well, shit, man, that is an advantageous situation for yourself. Then you got yourself a 5-minute, a 5-step walk,
dude. It's like,
well, you want to know what the best part is? There's a small chance, and when I say small, I mean greater than anyone else in the entire world, that she could actually hear what we're saying right now.
That's fantastic. Bring her on the podcast.
Oh my god,
let's talk about this.
Don't give me even an inkling of more information because I'll hunt her down on social media.
I'm literally looking at her balcony.
Oh, buddy, I hope that this turns into a good story. Well, I hope it's a beneficial story for Blake to tell, but it's also a fun story. But I think Ben is kind of hoping for the other corner.
No. I'm all for it.
Okay,
I'm all for.
I mean, we want this. It needs to at least start good.
It always starts good.
Not always.
Everything always starts good.
Listen, there's some things that could happen in that whole situation that would not denote a good beginning.
Well, the only thing it's sight unseen, so it always starts good. You're not swiping the correct direction on the wrong candidate.
Like she could go crazy halfway through and claim half the corner of like his room as hers and have like an AJ situation.
That's Anthony's problem, and we will deal with that on another podcast. Because that girl was probably from Tinder or something, and she ended up being a squatter in his home.
What Anthony's 2-week wife?
Yeah, 2-week wife.
That ended up. I think she lived with him more after he wanted her out
than she did
than when he wanted her in.
Now, the whole thing about that is, listen, like we obviously all love Anthony, and I feel
you gotta love what he prefaces it with that here it comes.
Here it comes.
I feel bad about the whole situation because he did get kind of a shitty deal in the fact that like she just defined an app girl, but like the jumping head first into the public social media pond was like unreal.
Yeah. Especially with the age and wisdom that comes with being older, you definitely should have stepped a few toes in there first.
Yeah, it was a very strong and solid social media commitment going on with pictures and posts and trips and vacations to South Florida where he didn't visit any of us because he was with them.
Yeah,
come on.
As you lobbed the softball up to me, as I was just about to say, I'm at the beach, and he says he's at like this other beach that's like 5 minutes down the road.
Yeah,
it's literally 5 minutes away, and like Dave, I'm Jackie and he's Dave Meltzer.
That's a beautiful visual. I love callbacks.
Oh, so that's the Blakedown in a nutshell, and I guess at some point will we include the video with this?
I'll probably there's no reason to show beforehand if we're gonna if we're talking about it.
See, I feel like you should play it because I mean it's one of these things where it's like it's kind of hard to describe. Like you almost have to hear it.
Yeah.
But I think maybe this tricks people into listening to the whole thing.
Oh my god. If you've gone this far and you haven't seen the video, we don't apologize.
And now the great rib will be I keep talking about how it's going to be at the end, and then I don't put it at the end.
Or you can put some other non-related video at the end.
That's true. It's just going to be 3 minutes of me eating popcorn out of a bag.
Well, instead of the video at the end, you just put like just pull like a 5-minute clip off Mac and Me off YouTube.
I don't want any copyright strikes.
Dude, it's funny.
I don't even know if I guess the match with me and Ramaguchi and fucking Fuckface is on, so you could fucking play that too and watch my miserable ass. Because I remember, because I wasn't even in shape. Like I had been. That was after the whole SuperCon deal and the Rogan deal.
You were in A shape.
I was in A shape, but it wasn't good shape.
Wasn't
I got by the time I worked Dave and then
were you on the gas?
At that time, the only gas I was on was like fucking natural gas, buddy. There was no fucking steroids there, buddy. I know I was just not in shape because it was after the Craig thing too, I think. Was it?
I don't know.
I think it was after. I was just so disillusioned. I didn't want to be a part of it, And then George threw like fucking Shaw and Dave and everybody in my face, and I was like, arg! And then Drew, and I was like, okay, I'll give it one last shot. Well, because
well, the guy that's ghosted us.
Well, Drew and I had originally were going to try to do something. Remember, we were going to try to tag at some point.
Marco completely no-selling it.
Listen, I'm trying to stay,
Don't worry, he'll never listen to this anyways.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Like ever.
Yeah, I know, man. I know. Look, still got a lot of love for the guy, okay? Even though he ditched us entirely. But it's not true, though. If we all just get on Instagram, we'll be all right.
No, I messaged him. He never got back to me again after that little exchange.
I was supposed to go to Phil Collins with him and Boom in a box in Tampa, and he said he was getting the tickets. Never followed through.
Huh. Well, things happen.
Back in the days of concerts.
Yeah, remember those?
The South Park Memberberry episode is like in my head all the time now because it's like, hey, I want to go to Ale House. Oh, remember when we used to be able to go to Ale House? And you're like, God damn it! It's funny though, for all those people who wanted socialism. Well, you got it. We can't go out and do anything. We can't have anything except what the government tells us we can. It's shitty. It sucks.
I don't know if that's socialism, but we'll roll with it.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't fact check anything. It's just what I see.
Until my Trump check clears, there's no socialism to be talked about.
Trump check. You got a better chance of seeing God, buddy.
Dude. Oh, Blake, did I tell you about this?
Oh, that's a good gimmick, Blake. You'll love this. You'll love
What's this?
Because I didn't file, I never file taxes. Because I only file taxes on years where I have a job that reports them, and that's been like a good 10 years. That when the rumors of this Trump check started floating around, I'm like, oh shit, I'm gonna have to file. Mm-hmm. And so I go online, and at first I think they were saying that they were doing it off the 2017 and 2018 returns. And so I'm like, fuck, I gotta file one of those, and you can't do those electronically anymore. So I looked and the IRS kept saying, we're going to do an easy button for people that don't normally file, just basically to get your bank information so we can direct deposit you a check. So I was waiting for that. And in the meantime, I'm getting nervous that by the time this happens, they'll already be doling out checks because you know how this has been going. Everything's working backwards these days.
He's called me at this point, Blake, in the last couple of weeks. He's called me at least 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, because you've had the experience. Yeah. You filed, but you filed.
I filed for my 2019,
which I didn't realize. So I'm asking you questions, and so what happens, Blake, is then I go back on the site and it says they're doing them off to 2019. Not that I have a W-2 or a 1099. I've got nothing. So I go on the. But I know
Ben was dead in 2019.
But I know that I can e-file that theoretically. So I'm going through the paces on like whatever TurboTax or H&O, whichever one I fucking use. I don't even remember at this point. And I'm like not hitting, like I'm trying to report nothing, and that won't fly because they're like, well, we can't e-file if you haven't hit like these topics, and so. Like an hour later, I'm trying to go through and find where to file that I've made a little bit of money so that it'll check all those boxes off. And I file like somewhere that I made like $1,800 or something for the year. I'm just, listen, man, come on. I don't make money. And you can't prove it. I have no bank accounts. I've been a ghost for years. So I've been getting paid cash for all my jobs. Nothing's been reported. And I dare you to prove it. And so, but it's killing me now because I can't qualify for this check. So I'm like, I find this place, this spot for like some type of work where I don't have to provide a W-2 or 1099 because I don't have that. And so it accepts that and it says, you're all good to go. And then when I go to submit it, it goes, oh, you've got a problem. Go review it. When I hit go review it, it says you're good to go. So I'm like totally confused. I'm ready to throw my laptop through a fucking wall because it's been like 2 hours of trying to negotiate through this shit. So I finally go, fuck it. And I go to like the hobby section where you can like, if you made any money through a hobby, I report like another $2,000 and it says, you're good. And it goes through. And so
So Ben spends the last 2 weeks, 2 hours on the fucking computer. He bobos a fucking return just so he can get this Trump check. As we're getting home after fucking
the day after I filed
the day
this.
after he files it, I see on Yahoo News, oh yeah, so the IRS is putting up this page for people who haven't filed taxes in like forever, just to get your bank information and just just basic information, just so we can send you a check. And I sent it to Ben, and I knew his first reaction was like, God damn it!
Like if I waited 12 more hours or 18 more hours, I wouldn't have had to put myself through that hell. The thing I had been waiting on that I got too anxious and wanted to make sure they had my information before checks started rolling out.
It was so fantastic. I felt for you. I really did.
But the irony of all this is I reported that I made like fucking $4,000 last year, and somehow through their calculations I'm getting $143 back, even though I didn't pay anything in. I don't know how that works, but I'm getting $143 plus my Trump check.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know.
I actually got a random check in the mail today, and I haven't worked there in well over a month.
Well, there you go, buddy. There you
Like
go.
from a job?
From Lifetime Fitness.
Just like a paycheck, or like
Yeah, it's like
you didn't get like royalties or something, or something like commissions.
It was like $45 or something. I don't even. It was like for a certain amount of hours worked. I don't really know what those would have been.
Hey, whatever. It's like finding $20 in an old suit pocket, right?
I mean, it's basically gonna pay for my extra dinner tomorrow or tonight.
Extra dinner.
He's a hobbit now, so he's got like 3 dinners.
When I say extra, I mean like over the top.
Oh, extra. I thought either you were eating twice, or you were paying for someone else. I didn't even think about the like just being extra.
No, Blake does it right. He makes the women pay.
In one way or another. I don't know if it's always financially.
Well, sometimes when the women pay, I end up paying. Hence,
Yeah.
Well, you know.
Yeah. I would tell you with the next door neighbor, if things go anywhere near the realm where you need them to go or want them to go, you should probably just do the extra something just to keep that situation from going awry as fast as possible.
See, that's one of those things that sucks. Like, I'm an idiot, and I can't like stop thinking with the wrong head. Like, that's not gonna end up.
No, you're a man. It's impossible. We're all in the same boat.
That's not gonna end well.
No.
I just picture him laying Reese's Pieces from her door to his door.
A piece of candy.
like, what am I thinking? Like, this is really gonna work out well?
No, it's a terrible idea, Blake. But listen, we are on the other side telling you it's a terrible idea, but at the same time, because we're men, we're like, well,
y'all were the same people telling me to do Rosa.
I would never say that.
I encourage.
Yes, you did.
Did
Every
I?
single one of you.
Hold on. I will encourage my friends, every one of my friends' bad ideas for the amusement and the good story we'll get out of it, as long as it's not like going to actually hurt them.
Well, Rosa would have actually hurt him.
But you know.
I don't know. Like I did. Man, if I did that, Blake, I'm a bad person though. So yeah, no. I'll take responsibility.
Blake, were you there the night that I told Tony Garrido to slap her ass, and then her boyfriend got him in his face and threatened to kill him?
What?
We were at like a Dave & Buster's type place, or a Buffalo Wild Wings, and she was like standing up on the chair, and I just nudged him, and I made the motion like smack her on the ass, and she popped for it because she's one of the boys or whatever, and everyone at the table laughed, and like 20 minutes later he like simmered with it, like typical machismo move. Was simmered with it, and then got in like my face and Tony's face about it, and everyone had to like Rosa had to like drag him out of the place and tell him to leave, and just angry as fuck. And then Hudak showed up afterwards, and typical Hudak, in some state of inebriation, and also a loyal guy who, if one of his boys is being, he's got your back, he's like, he heard like about it, and he's like, where is he? Like he wanted to fight the guy, and it's like an hour later, the guy's gone and whatever. We're like, no, it's cool, man. He's like, oh man, I got your back. like appreciate it, but way too late of a gesture.
Listen, the tire slasher will slash.
Dude, I just remember him pulling up to your that one wrestling show at the bike club right here down the road.
Oh shit!
And literally, he like stumbled out of the car with one empty Four Loko tumbling to the floor and another one in his hand. He's like, "Let's do this!" And the day went the way you expected from there. Not just with him, but with Anthony throwing the chair at Trevor, and the bikers trying to kill Derek because they thought it was a shoot.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I literally saw a guy try and pull a knife out, like start to pull a knife out of like wherever he had it because he was going to stab Derek with it.
Gotta love Davey.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Gotta love Davey. All right. Well,
okay, Blake. I think we've chewed your ear off long enough, and we've told the Blakedown. I think that's another one we'll just celebrate every year.
Yeah.
Why not?
We can celebrate.
We celebrate, and we celebrate the future prospects of.
We'll do a 60-60 on it.
A 60-60
next year.
What the hell's wrong with me?
I don't know.
That was so great.
Oh my goodness! All
right, Blake. You want to take us out? Look who's a deer in the headlights now.
Oh,
for Ben Temples and Marco Salvino. No, that was good. That was fun. I always like talking about the down, and if you happen to post it, I think that would. I mean, I would like to, almost kind of like watch it and discuss it, amongst ourselves. But
I'll dig it up wherever it is, dust it off, and slap it on.
I'm digging out a bottle of Jack Daniels before I watch that atrocity of a match.
I know I have. Do you have it?
I don't know. If you have it, send it.
Okay.
And maybe next year we'll get Eric on to give his perspective since he was the man.
I think that would be a fantastic idea.
Because he was the one filming, so he was right in the middle of it.
Yeah, I think that's a fantastic idea.
All right, buddy. I guess that's
all right,
it.
boys.
We'll call it a day.
Take it easy, brother.
Thanks for calling back. I thought it was gonna be a rib, and you weren't gonna call back.
Oh, stop it! I'm willing to stop.
All right.
Later, brother.
Later.
And welcome to the hottest professional wrestling in Miami, Florida. This is ICW TV. Blake Chadwick alongside Richard Tingle. We're going to be bringing the action this afternoon live in Miami, Florida. And this week we're starting the first round of the ICW Heavyweight Title Tournament. In our first match, we're going to see Kake Ling go one-on-one with Mike Monroe.
Okay, good. Let's do it again. Well, you're gonna
I didn't know what you wanted me to do.
Hey, introduce yourself. Talk about yourself and go.
All right, cool.
All right.
I thought we were just doing him do the intro. That's it.
No,
okay.
no.
I mean, unless you don't want to.
Do you want to say something?
Yeah, just keep it. No, just
introduce him to say this is also Richard Tingle and blah. Okay. Did you say Richard Tingle?
Yeah. He answered. But I didn't like. Yeah, I thought we were just tossing it to him. That's all.
Okay, we're doing that again, and then you say everything, Blake, and go to the ring.
What's the second match?
Hey, you know what I'm not? You know what? I mean, it's fine, but I wish we were doing the show stuff during the show. Like instead of filming after.
Right? I don't know what we're doing.
I was like, why can't we do that? I don't really have time to like hang out, that long. That's what I'm like. I don't know why couldn't we do it live though? All it is, it's like a 1 minute open and 1 minute close. Like we have enough time.
Not even the closest. The closest we're closing out for the match.
Oh, okay. But you're not even gonna come to the desk for that. You're not even gonna come to like here for the close of the show. You're just gonna do the open of the show here. Yeah, I don't know why we couldn't do that. I mean, it won't take long. We're just in the open.
Yeah.
What about like tosses? What about like let's go backstage Dan Ragu? But I don't like.
Alright, and that is that. Now the end.
What, you think you talking is going to do anything? Like all this bullshit noise and chairs banging around and people throwing shit like Rosa? Like,
I felt so bad for you, man.
I
spent a legit 5 minutes picking it up.
I had gimmicks papers. There's a huge stack over here. This was all tight over here. Just woo! I was expecting her to throw them under.
You spent a legit 5 minutes picking it up.
Well, the thing that sucked is we only had 2 matches left. I needed that shit.
Oh my God, fine, man.
Whoa!
let's wait about maybe 5 minutes.
Put a timeout on this. Back it up. We're not done.
Yeah, let's give it about 5 minutes. We'll go right back. And we'll get everything else done, all right? We'll go with something.
Put the chairs down and back the fuck away. How about that? That means put the fucking chairs down and get the fuck out of here.
God damn, man.
I'm sorry, we're filming TV so you can fucking watch it. How about that?
I don't even watch this, bro.
Then why are you here? Well, George is wrong, okay? That's possible. Well, then how about you tell George, the TV guy tells you to back it the fuck up. How about that?
All right, Blake, give me a second.
You're making too much fucking noise. How about that?
It's just common sense. See people with
What do you think the camera's for? My fucking self? God damn. You had fucking 3 hours to make noise. Can't give me 5 minutes?
All right.
Holy shit!
Honey, do me a favor. Can you just put the chair down for a second, honey? I just need
Like, is that rolling? Because I hope it is.
Yeah.
Thank you. Seriously, like 5 minutes.
I'm sorry about that. Let's get to 5 minutes, all right? And I agree with that.
All right, fine. Fine, then I'm done. Then you can do that and I'll wait. We've said 15 times to stop doing that. I'm sorry, I don't want to do post shit for 3 hours after this. It's longer than the show. Like, I'm sorry. I'm trying to fucking take it home. Jesus.
All right, we're out of the match. We're out of the Aaron Agnew match. Justice Swartz came out of nowhere, and we're going straight into the brawl between Dash and DJ. Okay?
All right, hold on. Let me see this fucking sheet. Show me.
Agnew
Swords.
I didn't realize he was still on the phone. He'd just been listening in. This is such a Blake thing. This is like Blake checking on someone every day to see what the comments and likes and whatever. Nobody else is paying attention anymore. He stayed on the line to see if we were talking shit about him. I know him.
That's not what I was doing.
What was that noise you were making?
I made the Paul Bear noise.
Because it was only because we could barely hear it because it's still wired through the system, so it was faintly coming out of our headphones.
Yeah.
That we weren't wearing anymore. They were on the couch.
I thought you were meowing at us.
Yeah.
It was just Paul Bear.
Oh my God.
Blake, don't shit where you eat, buddy. It's a bad idea.
Well, no, I heard you say that and I started laughing. That's why I stay on the line.
I figured Blake was gonna be the one that hung up, so I didn't. Now I know better.
That's so great.
Oh. All right. Yeah.
It'd be better if it was the end of Ben's usual conversations where he just puts out the phone. Fucking bubble dick motherfucker.
Do I do that? I probably do.
You do it all the fucking time. Literally every day, Instacart calls Ben, and he's like, yeah, totally. And like, you can hear them trying to be nice and figure out where the apartment is because they don't know how to maneuver this maze. Ben every time just throws his phone like, fucking bubble dick motherfuckers, Huss, bro.
Oh yeah. They still haven't delivered my food, and I'm shitting on them.
It would have been better if we into this and you're like, that fucking bumble dick fucking Blake. Blah. Shitting where he eats. But Blake's going to be homeless in a month because all the women in his condo are going to write a letter strongly wording him out.
No.
Ben starts hot taking. Man.
No.
Child abuse for fucking...
I listen to that Jackie soundboard.
No. You guys don't understand. Like Blake doing the podcast 2 weeks in a row. I'm not going to be shitting on him. I'm 2 weeks in a row. You don't understand that that's above and beyond the Call of Duty, and I'm in a good mood as far as all things Blake are concerned.
I'm definitely down for getting like a Ouija board to talk to Jackie.
You want to talk to Jackie through the afterlife?
We've got the beer we can bring out as like the physical object.
Oh my
Right.
God.
Yeah.
But you have to video that. That's a video podcast.
Audio would be all right, because then we could have someone sitting here that doesn't look like Jackie, and he could do the fucking Jackie voice. No. Either that, or like I said, we got to find every little piece of audio from Jackie and make a Jackie soundboard where we just hit buttons and you get different noises and sounds and phrases and shit.
That's amazing.
Yeah, Butterbean. I said Butterbean. I couldn't look at Butterbean and not see Jackie.
Bro, how about I watched that Brawl for All last night? I had no idea how fucked like Dr. Death was after that. I had no idea.
Yeah, I didn't remember.
Well, he was on a decline before that, and then he tore his hamstring during it.
Yeah, he couldn't stand up.
But that was his run.
And that was like the late WWE run that like some of these old timers get, like a Harley Race or whatever, where it's like you're way past your prime, but Vince is gonna treat you right, and he missed it.
But that run with Austin would have been so good.
Yeah. Well, I don't know why they didn't give Bart Gunn a shot. That was insulting.
Yeah.
It's like, we don't know what to do with you. What do you mean you don't know what to do with me? It was supposed to get a fucking run with fucking Austin.
But also, that whole documentary that whole episode made Bart look like he was the baddest motherfucker.
It really did.
Because he was the only one out of all of them that was still like the now filming.
Yeah.
He was just standing there and he looked like he could still fucking go toe to toe with him.
Vince Russo, by the way, comes off like immediately the most punchable human being you've ever seen in your life.
Well,
Worst.
hasn't he usually come across that way?
So I went out yesterday to hang out with Kevin. Kevin watched the New Jack thing, the day prior, and his girlfriend, who has no idea about wrestling, couldn't understand how New Jack wasn't in prison for a lifetime and a half. Just couldn't understand.
Wait. You don't have to get into it now, but did you just say Kevin?
Kevin, yeah.
Yeah.
No,
you talked to him?
No, not Sullivan, buddy.
No.
He knows your boy Kevin.
Yeah.
Did y'all have like a huge falling out?
No. Well.
Yes. You had a huge falling out.
Oh, that's right. From years ago.
But Blake, he was at the wedding.
He was at the wedding. Yeah. We made up like 2 months before my wedding.
I remember that.
You smoke a lot of weed, sir. It's okay. I do the same.
I mean, you were a big centerpiece of that wedding, Blake. It's understandable that you wouldn't remember
I was just gonna say I don't remember Kevin from the meet and greet.
You don't remember brushing. You don't remember brushing shoulders with all the adjacents.
So we watched the Brawl for All, and she watched the Brawl for All, and her reaction after watching Brawl for All, she was like, "How did that Vince Russo guy like not have like charges filed against him from all these guys and be sued by all these wrestlers for ruining their careers?" And I'm like, "That's a fair question."
Hold on. I want to just backtrack 1 second and say that I think next time Blake wants to hop on the podcast, we definitely have to talk about your wedding.
Okay.
I think that'll be a fantastic one.
Wait.
I don't know that we could tell all the truths. but as years go by, and depending on what the situations are, maybe we can tell more, and maybe we won't.
Is this the podcast we tell with a divorce option, or with a podcast that leads to the divorce option?
Listen, I think we'll protect you in the first year, but after that.
Did I ever tell y'all I fucked one of the workers?
Wait, you banged one of the people that work at the event building? No, in there or
wait,
after?
That night?
Like later that week.
Later that day?
What?
Like a few days later.
No.
I don't.
Yeah, I don't know how to say.
All
it
right, no.
Gotta be through
All
this.
right, no. Blake, we're not gonna forget this.
Oh no! Next time Blake's available, we're talking the wedding because also I want to talk about. I don't. Were you around when we all got out of your wedding when we left? Like when it was over, the party and whatever, like an Indian wedding let out at the same time, and it was like all of a sudden you're in a Bollywood musical as like 300 Indians come streaming down the hallway, and like basically, it was incredible.
I had no idea.
Yeah, there was an Indian wedding at a bigger room.
I remember that.
Yeah, you remember.
Oh my goodness. Just so now when she's like, we had a great wedding. I'm like, all I'm gonna think about is like, well, yeah, but we didn't have a Bollywood wedding.
Yeah. It was colorful. All of a sudden, life became more colorful.
If any white person could pull it off,
Listen. Those fucking Bollywood action movies are some of my favorite things in the world.
but you'd have to do like that Indian thriller guy.
Oh, I'd have done it.
Or
All right.
All right.
superhero guy.
Let's for reals now do this because
Yeah.
there's weed to smoke and life to exist.
And I'm going to make sure I hang up on Blake.
I'm gonna hang up this time.
Because now all the shit will be talked.
Uh,
I'm just kidding. All right, dude.
to the thread.
I'll talk to you later.
Bye-bye.
For the ICW Championship. Introducing first, from behind Georgia Pub, weighing at 150 pounds, Owen Tomato.
All right, folks, welcome back to ICW TV, a special triple threat match for the ICW spot in the ICW heavyweight title quarterfinal round. As we've already seen Jason Moore knock off Adrian Marks earlier on in this episode, and Richard, ICW management, George Portuondo came together. They made this match, and they added a 17th man into the ICW heavyweight title tournament. It's not Otis D'Amonto. It's not Vinny Ramaguchi. It's the most unpredictable man in South Florida professional wrestling, Sean Prime.
Well, you know, it only makes sense. You get a match like this, that's pretty much, it's chaotic to begin with. There's unusual circumstances surrounding this match. It's a three-way match. Think about that. This is a three-way in a tournament. One guy has the bragging rights that he eliminated not one but two men in one match.
And remember, Richard, one fall to a finish. So both of these men in the ring right now could decide the pinfall, while Sean Prime, who has not even come out here yet, could very well be on the outside looking in.
Yeah, you can technically lose this match without even being pinned.
Indeed. As we are looking for one half of the quarterfinals to be set after this week's episode of ICW TV. Again, Mike Monroe, Dash Maverick, and as we saw a couple of minutes ago in this episode, Jason Moore advancing on in to the quarterfinals. And if you hear the crowd here in Miami, Richard, ICW clearly is Vinny Ramaguchi country.
Oh, you're not going to find a more passionate crowd anywhere. ICW, they've got a great fan base. And Ramaguchi is one of the reasons why. The fans love this guy for obvious reason. He's a superb athlete.
But these two men might have been off more than they can chew. 6'4", 240 pounds. The most unpredictable man in South Florida professional wrestling. He doesn't know what a filter is. He is a former ICW heavyweight champion, Sean Prime, and he came to Miami for one reason, and that's to kick ass and win that heavyweight title.
Oh, no doubt about it. There's no off switch on Prime. There's no mute button on Prime. There's no stop for Prime. This guy is just go, go, go.
And after this match is over, he's hoping Otis D'Amonto and Vinny Ramaguchi will all hail Prime. And one thing I'm very interested to see here, will he be able to snap off that Prime Plex, that three-quarter fisherman suplex on one of these men to take him out one of the most devastating finishing moves in the game today?
I wouldn't be surprised if we see that move on both of these guys here, on Ramaguchi and Otis.
Let's see if Prime has the strength to handle that, as it looks like Otis D'Amonto is going for a test of strength here.
And the mind games begin already.
You two have some fun. I'll get
And Sean Prime is going to take a little bit of a breather here.
And that's the smartest thing to do, considering, I mean, it's what, practically 100 degrees in the shade?
It is certainly pretty cool out here. Pretty hot out here, but it's a pretty cool environment if you want to be a part of ICW. And Sean Prime's drawn with the fans right there. Otis D'Amonto, Vinny Ramaguchi going out in the center of the ring, and D'Amonto there snaps off a spinning head scissors.
That's pretty impressive, but here's Here's the one thing you got to look at in regards to Otis here. Take a look at Otis. What's he wearing? He's wearing all black. And granted, Prime is too, but Prime's got the sense to at least get outside of the ring. Otis, that black vinyl, you're going to be peeling that off of him.
This one's bowling shoe ugly, Richard. As Otis D'Amando and Vinny Ramaguchi going at it, but I think it's all a matter of time before they all hail Prime.
Oh, no doubt about it. I think Prime's the favorite here for everybody in this tournament.
As Otis D'Amato chopping away here at Vinny Ramaguchi.
You know, this is just the appetizer to when Sean Prime gets in the ring. Seeing these two guys, it's great action. It's nice to see, but this is really going to pick up a notch once Prime decides to be a part of this.
And Ramaguchi charges out of the corner with that shoulder tackle. And there's a spinning head scissors there by Ramaguchi. And he takes him down with a modified Russian leg sweep. It's almost as if these two men won a prize to get in this tournament, Richard.
It's almost like they're wrestling for the opportunity to wrestle against Prime. Look at this.
Sean Prime's looking this way. He better keep his eyes back directed towards the ring. I don't want anything to do with that man. And Ramaguchi takes him down with the double knees off the top.
This is almost like they're having to wrestle for the opportunity to wrestle against Prime, but Prime's got to be careful because if one of those guys pins the other guy, he's out also.
And Ramaguchi, what an incredible move right there. That suicide dive to the outside, he takes out Prime. And look at Vinny Ramaguchi, you got to admire the fight in this kid, taking it right to Sean Prime.
Absolutely, he brought the fight to Prime. He got sick and tired of basically taking care of business in the ring.
And Ramaguchi getting back in here as Otis D'Amato pounding away on Sean Prime, and Prime just going to shove him right off.
Otis almost flew right out of the ring right there.
And he's lighting him up with kicks here, D'Amato.
Prime's got to be careful here, this disadvantage of these two guys against him here.
As D'Amato and Ramaguchi pounding away here on Sean Prime. The Irish whip. And the double clothesline. And 6'4", 240 comes crashing to the mat there. And it looks like the double suplex is on its way. Can they get the big man up and over? They do!
But it took two of them to do it.
And Prime goes down, D'Amato goes for the cover. 1, 2, and Ramaguchi shoves him off. He goes for 1.
And now you see the problem of these two guys working together.
And that caveat of the triple threat there, Richard. Always another man trying to insert himself into that pinfall scenario.
No doubt about it. You look at these two guys. These guys were working together, and now they're working against each other, giving Prime a chance to, of course, get that breath he needs.
Fisher Price, my first knife edge chop there by Otis D'Amato. And he's going to send him for a ride here. Looks like a double team on its way. They send Prime in. He ducks underneath the clothesline. And Sean Prime avalanches both men right to the ground.
Like a Mack truck, he hit both of them.
And this one does look like a car accident out there.
Look at the bodies everywhere.
And Prime's going to let the bodies hit the floor here. And there's a scoop slam on D'Amato. He's got Ramaguchi. He picks up Vinny Ramaguchi. Look at that powered strike by Sean Prime. And he takes him down with a suplex.
Oh, what skill. You see how he held him up there just a few extra seconds longer, and then dropped him right on that head as soon as that all that blood rushed down to it.
And Richard, it appears it's just a matter of time before these two men are sent packing, and Sean Prime's moving on into the quarterfinals.
The question now is, who is Prime going to pin? Who does he want to beat to move forward?
Sean Prime, he's going to pick him up. Oh, and just drives Ramaguchi's face right into his knee.
Who gets the honors? Who gets the honors? That's the question.
2, and Ramaguchi kicks out of that cocky cover there by Prime. He's going to have to at least go down and hook the leg to dispatch these men. He's not done enough damage yet. Oh, to pin him that way.
Did you hear that, Blake? Did you hear that? That wasn't a slap. That was a thump.
Right between the eyes. He sends D'Amato into the turnbuckle. He's not even going to charge in after him.
There's no need to. He's going to fall in the corner.
And Prime doing a number here on Ramaguchi. Oh no. He's going to send Ramaguchi right into D'Amato.
And that's why he had a plan for it. He was one step ahead. Here he comes.
Oh, 240 pounds like a freight train right in the corner.
Hey, Blake, we may see him pin both men at the same time.
That's very possible. But he's going to have to do something and something soon. If Sean Prime wants to secure his spot in the quarterfinals, which will air on ICW television in the coming weeks.
Prime taking his time here, enjoying this, relishing it almost. Like I said, it's a rare opportunity. You get to beat two guys at once.
Has him back up to a vertical base. Sends him for a ride. Ducks underneath the clothesline. And a modified Pele kick there by Ramaguchi. And Dude Hate with a sliced bread. 2. And D'Amato shoves Ramaguchi right off. 1, 2, and again, the caveat to the triple threat here, Richard. Neither man allowing the other one to get the pinfall.
You think these guys would have figured it out? Ditch one. Take care of somebody. Toss him outside of the ring. Do something.
And not that Ramaguchi and D'Amato were friends coming into this match, but they're certainly not friends now, as D'Amato gets sent right into Ramaguchi. Oh, Prime's got him. Fireman's carry position. Death Valley driver as D'Amato is down. Goes for the super kick. Spins him around here. He's got him. Oh, no. There's the Prime Flex. 3 quarter. This is it. 1, 2. Oh, no. Did Prime let up? I don't think Ramaguchi kicked out. I think Prime let him go.
I think he did. He let him go. He wants to take out Otis, I think.
He wants to inflict some more damage on Otis D'Amato. Kicks him in the midsection. Oh no, he's got D'Amato up. He picks him up. He's got this man up. And the buster. And Otis D'Amato's spine just compressed. 1, 2,